right, welcome back to the Late for Loadin podcast. I'm Chris. I'm here with my co-host Josh, and on this week's episode, we have a member of one of my personal favorite bands growing up, Brandon Saller of the band Atreyu, and this was super fun. Probably up there with, probably in the top 2 or 3 funniest episodes. Probably the most I've laughed during the recording of an episode so far in the history of doing this podcast. Brandon's just he's an unbelievably talented dude, but he's just the biggest damn sweetheart possibly ever.
What a dude. And it was crazy how, they say don't meet your idols or whatnot, and I'm not a drummer, but man, the impact that Atreyu had on my life growing up, I admitted it at the end of the episode. I think I did have a live, love, burn, die tattoo. Listen, they were probably top 3 of my all-time favorite bands. Oh, yeah. It was crazy to hear him talk about Suicide Notes the way that, and basically admit that now it's unlistenable.
Yeah.
Because that record, I remember when it came out, it was such a
breath of fresh air.
It had such a crazy impact on me. So to hear him in the band, part of the record, admit now in 2025 that it's almost unlistenable was just mind-blowing to me.
I think he's talking from a sonic standpoint.
No, he is. Yeah, I get it.
And from that point, I get it. But, I think even from a musical standpoint, as artists, I am always already over what we've released the previous record before, because you feel like you've grown. So I can only imagine that for a record that came out, 25 or more years ago. He's probably like, Jesus, this is awful. He was an actual child back then, But it's just like, like you said, Atreyu was one of your favorite bands. For probably the majority of my teenage years, they were probably my number 1 favorite band out, next to Metallica. But and
you like Metallica?
No, I've never actually listened to them.
Okay.
No. And I would even throw Atreyu is still in my top 10 of all time. Where they fall in that top 10, I'm not sure, but they are definitely in my top 10 of all time. And you said that one of the don't meet your idols. We did Shiprocked with them earlier this year, and we hung out with them probably the most, and we didn't really know them. I had some talks with Brandon because I went on his Twitch stream over the pandemic, which is something him and I were able to connect on because both of us kind of found a home on Twitch and kind of filled that void of not having shows anymore with hanging out with the Twitch community. And so I talked to him a little bit that way, but getting to hang with him in person, just how are you guys, this legendary band, but still just so humble and down to earth? And
it's crazy. That was what I was saying. Yeah. It was so freaking cool to just have him on, and I didn't know what to expect. I had met him a couple times, but not anything where he would remember me or I would remember my interaction with him. But it was you get these nerves because listen, you could put the Curse on right now and it would hold up against any record out.
I'm right there with you. I'll sing every single word.
Absolutely. So having that in the back of my brain with, having him come on and be as cool as he was, it was just icing on the cake,
Absolutely. Yeah. Just the coolest dude. Really fun episode. We get on a tangent about the Architect's hoodie that I'm wearing, and how, I'm not even going to go any further. When you hear it in the episode, you're going to be like, that's what he's talking about.
Don't give it away.
And you're going to laugh your ass off just like I was the entire time. This is a super fun one. Brandon's a sweetheart. One of the most talented singers, I think, in the scene as a whole. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy this one a lot. So enjoy this week's episode with Brandon of Atreyu. This episode of Late for Loadin is brought to you by Rockabilia.com, your go-to destination for 100% official band merchandise. No bootlegs, no cheap knockoffs, just authentic gear straight from the bands you love. From metal and punk to classic rock and beyond, Rockabilia has over 500,000 items in stock. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, patches, and even rare, hard-to-find collectibles. If you're looking for something exclusive, Rockabilia drops brand new limited edition merch every month. So if you see something you like, grab it before it's gone. And in fact, we just placed an order for some new merch ourselves. I picked up a very, very cool Linkin Park Meteora hoodie. Josh, did you grab something?
Yeah, I grabbed a couple things. I got a super limited Eminem tour shirt, and then what you mentioned not missing out. I saw a Meatloaf tour shirt from 2005 that I really, really wanted. Unfortunately, they didn't have my size, so I missed out on that one.
Well, there you have it. Don't wait. Our friends at Rockabilia are hooking up Late for Loadin listeners with 10% off when you use code LOAD at checkout. So if your band tee collection needs a refresh, fresh and you want to support the artists who make the music we love, hit up rockabilia.com, load up your cart, and drop in code LOAD, LOAD, for that sweet discount. Now let's roll today's show. Brandon, welcome to the Late for Loadin podcast. Thank you so much for hanging out. Really appreciate your time.
Stoked to be here, my friends.
Yeah, big fan. Big fan. Thanks for coming on. Listen, I wanted to tell this story. When Right Side of the Bed first came out, we were on dial-up internet back in those days, and I was living at my friend's house.
Hey, man, don't date my guy like that. Don't make him sound old like that.
I was actually I was dating myself, but I realized
but he already had a record out at that. Actually, two records out at that.
I was only 12 when that record came out, so it's chill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's cool. So he's good then. He's good. No, but I remember it took forever to download, and the only computer was in my friend's mom's bedroom. And when it downloaded, I probably listened to it 5 times over because it was A, that good, and B, it took that long to download. So I really wanted to get my money's worth.
Could you imagine if it was whack? If you were like, that sucks. It wasted all this time.
You know what? To be fair, that happened a lot in the fucking like Napster, LimeWire days, which I totally didn't. I totally didn't take part in. Right? Like I totally didn't do that. But
that is, yeah.
But you would like he said, everybody had dial up really shitty internet, and it would take like fucking 8 hours to download a 2.5 minute song just to find out that you got like fucking rickrolled or something, and it's not even the song you were trying to get in the first place.
To find out when you started to listen to it, you got like 30 seconds in, and then it would start like
right. Oh yeah. Yep.
More importantly, though, I appreciate that sentiment, and that's awesome. But most importantly, did you guys ever find anything suspect on your friend's mom's computer in her bedroom?
That's a good question, dude.
That's a great question, and thankfully, no, I did not. But I also didn't do too much digging either. So, but talking about dating ourselves, I wanted to tell you this. We did an episode yesterday with the girl from Deadlands.
Oh yeah.
One of the questions in the lightning round at the end was, what was the first CD you bought with your own money? And her answer was, I never bought a CD. And we were like,
she's too young to have ever bought a CD.
I don't even know what that does.
And that fucked me up.
What does CD mean?
She's all, you mean the little records?
Oh, you mean the tiny vinyls, right?
Yeah. The tiny vinyl that doesn't scratch as easy.
Right.
Dude, honestly, that's a real ass thing. And I had this whole sort of like come to Jesus moment 2 albums ago where like, I was like, why are we making CDs? I feel like such a fraud because I'm trying to get all these people to buy my CD and I couldn't play my own CD if I wanted to.
Yep.
I don't have a CD player in my car. I don't have one in my computer. I don't have one in my house.
Me neither.
So I'm like, I would assume there's probably a lot of people that are just like me. I'm like, why the fuck are we even making these things anymore?
It's become like the new autograph thing, and that's it.
Straight up.
It's just a thing to sign.
Straight up, our last record that came out last year, we didn't even wait to have all the physical product before we released the record because we're like, what's the fucking point? And first off, no one's really paying attention to first week numbers anymore, which used to be the big deal of like trying to sell those things. And 2, no one's fucking used them anyway. So we're just like, we'll just we got a small allotment of CDs and like I think 100 of the vinyl, because they were able to rush a small amount out to us. And after that, we're just like, fuck it. Who cares? We'll have a couple things for the first week of the tour, and who gives a shit? We didn't worry about it.
The last project we did, that Paranoia Sessions record, the label was like, yeah, we're going to press, like, we did the artwork for the vinyl, and then like 4 days before it was due, the label's like, yeah, we need like the resized stuff for the CD. And I'm like, why? And they're like, well, we're going to make CDs. And I'm like, how much is that going to, like, how many usually make? Like, well, we usually press like, I don't know, we'll usually start with like 20,000 and like, you'd be surprised. Like we sell a decent amount of CDs for you guys. I'm like, how much does that cost? Like I asked them like a dollar amount. I'm like, can we just like spend that on marketing or something? Like,
right.
Why?
Yeah. Can we do another music video or something?
Something
maybe?
Else? Yeah. Right. It's like, but I mean, I think vinyl's still killing, whatever, but I think CDs, it's literally just something to sign.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
Totally.
New cars don't even, like you said, new cars don't even have CD players.
Right. No. And I think honestly, more people buy the vinyl for signing these days because it's almost like you're buying like wall art almost.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why we started. We started trying to make sure that like the inside of our vinyl unfolds to something cool. Because as like an adult, I would be like, "Oh, this is sick. I'll put that in my house because I love this band and I'll frame it or whatever." But yeah, it's just our beautiful art has just become wall art.
Yes, 100%. You know what? We had the guys from Alpha Wolf on here a couple weeks ago, and they got nominated for a Grammy for their vinyl packaging, and their shit unfolds into a boombox, and there's an actual cassette in it. I'm pretty sure that's the album, but it like goes in the boombox. Like, it's wild, dude.
See, that's tight.
Crazy.
That's tight.
It was crazy.
Super cool.
Back that. Go good. Big up Alpha Wolf for that. That's tight.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so.
Cool.
We got to talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Whose idea was your crazy ass backdrop for Shiprocked, and how the fuck did we become a victim in it? I loved it, but how the fuck did we get caught in the crosshairs on that?
One of the many blessings of having Porter McKnight in our band is, aside from having a great voice, being a great bass player, a great writer, he's
and
a
also
phenomenal,
the sweetest human on the planet.
Sweetest human. He's a great graphic designer too. And we're like, so usually in those cases where it's like, oh, hey, there's a video wall, throw up something, whatever. Like, we usually do something stupid. Like on like, I remember on Trinity of Terror, it was like our logo, but like spiders would crawl across it, and like really just like the dumb like video game ghosts would go across the thing like randomly. So we're like, okay, what can we do? And I feel like Shiprocked is one of those things where it's like, in our heads, it's not a normal show. Like, those aren't normal fans. Those are almost like, it's like people that are looking to be diehard about something.
Right.
And they're in constant just search of being diehard about something new. And it's like, how do you grab their attention? You know, like, I don't want to just put Atreyu up on the thing. And like, the majority of the people at this point, because we've done Shiprocked already, they know who's playing. You know what I mean? We're going to say it on stage. So I was like, okay, what can we do? I had the idea of doing us as all these bands, and in our head, it was like, okay, who are we close enough with that they're not going to care? So first it was Nothing More and Hollywood Undead, because those are like homies for a long time. And then we're like, okay, like, Chris, I've obviously met you like a couple times. Yep. I know Porter kind of knows a few, like, but it's the relationship is new, I would say, at best. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we're like, okay, we're definitely doing Ghost Inside. We're like, we've only met Parkway one time, so we definitely have to do that. And we don't know anyone in the Struts, never met anyone in the Struts, so that one has to happen. And I feel like it's sort of our approach with most things. Like, you kind of just like go and do whatever we're doing unapologetically, and then just like be the nice guys that I think we are, and people, you don't get upset about it. But it turned out pretty great.
Yeah.
Did anybody get upset?
No. Everyone was super cool. It was kind of funny because it actually made us feel awesome, because not only did people not get upset, there was like a couple bands that were like, what the fuck? Why not us?
Sure.
And it was like, oh man, like, there was bands that were like, oh man, like, what are they going to do on the next one? You know, like, oh, maybe there's more. But it turned out good. But our stupid ideas have really, our impulsive thoughts have really gotten the best of us in the last like 3, 4, 5 years. And we're just kind of rolling with it.
You know what? I love that though. And for the I'll throw a picture of, because I snapped a picture of us on the backdrop. I'll throw it in the video of this. But for those who don't know,
I can send you the actual.
Oh my God, please do. That would be great.
I haven't even seen it. I have no idea what we're talking about, but I'm just going with it.
Well, you're a bad friend and you don't pay attention to my text, because I sent it to you after it happened. I sure did, but it's okay. Fuck me. It's all right.
We'll have one.
Yeah. He is that one. But for those who don't know and aren't watching the video and you're just listening to the audio, basically what they did is they took promos of all the other bands on the boat, but they photoshopped their faces onto the other bands, and it fucking killed me. When I saw ours pop up, I started dying. And I also loved that right after you finished the song that you were playing, when it popped up, you went, sorry to the ghosts inside. We don't even really know them, so I hope they don't take offense to this. I was like, I assure you we're not. We all think it's funny. It was great.
The funny thing is, we told Porter, don't do a good job. Like, make it look horrible. And we were like, purposely put our faces on the heads that don't belong.
Like, that look the most ridiculous.
It was like, what would look the most ridiculous?
Yeah, it was so good. I loved it. It was like my favorite thing that happened that day. And that was night one of the cruise too, right?
Yeah, that was literally, we came out swinging pretty hard.
Yeah, insane. I love it.
Chris, I'm just here looking back through my text message photos with my conversation with you, and I just don't happen to see this.
Forgot to send that one. You thought
I don't see it anywhere.
Nope. I'm gonna put him on blast right now. It's a video.
Oh, it's a video. I'm in photos.
It's a video.
You probably did send it.
Nope. Hold on. It's not a video. I lied. This is really good podcast content. How about we move on and we'll get back to this later.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. Listen, maybe I'm wrong, so I'm gonna keep this thing rolling. When I have a question, when someone asks you what you do for a living nowadays, what do you say?
So it's especially tough the last like almost 2 years because I moved to Nashville. And
sure.
anyone that myself or my wife, if they ask what I do, and it's like, oh, he's in a band or he's a musician, the automatic thought is like, oh, that's cool. Like you moved to Nashville, like with a suitcase and a dream. Like what churches do you play at? You know?
Oh God.
Like what does he play downtown? You know, like it's like that kind of thing. And then you have to like explain. You almost feel like a dick because you're like, no, like.
Yeah,
I've been in a band for 25 years. Like, we tour the world, and it's just what I do because most people just don't understand.
Right.
So I just say I'm a musician. That way, it's like doesn't have to like go that deep. My wife used to like pull the used car salesman. Well, my husband sells used cars, just because it was like because that's a conversation ender. No one's like there's no further engagement there.
Yeah, that's smart.
But it's funny, like we went to Japan. I went to Tokyo for a week in this last September to write, and like
that's so sick.
The whole like pick up the kids from school on the corner waiting with parents was like, oh, like you were out of town. I'm like, yeah, we went to Japan. Like, oh, for what? And it was like we went to write, and they're just like, it's so far beyond.
Or people can't even process that.
Reason, like I don't understand why you would do that.
Right.
And I don't have an answer. I don't understand why I would do that either.
Right.
Except for why not. But
right.
The conversation gets weirder and weirder as you get older, I think. Because people expect you to be some sort of like reasonably responsible adult. And nothing about what I do sounds responsible at all.
I feel the same way sometimes. I manage a bunch of bands, and people are like, "Oh, great. Well, what does that mean?"
Right. Oh,
well, I don't really know how
I could see that being even more confusing to people because people already think that bands don't make money. They probably think that you make even less money than the bands. They're like, "What?
Your job isn't real." You're in a band, so you're like a millionaire.
Yeah, sure, right. That's true. That's true.
Right. I also had the opposite happen to me where we bought a house this last August, and on my street, the first 3 dudes I met on my street were like, "Oh, cool! Like, what do you do?" I'm a musician. Like, then it's like, "Oh, like, do you just like you in a band? What do you do?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm playing a band." "Oh, what's the band called?" "It's called Atreyu." And you get drop phase. There is 3 dudes on my street that are like 20-year Atreyu fans.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, fucking great. Like, luckily they're all cool. But it's like, like, you know where I live. Like, this could go south.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I lucked out. But
now I might call bullshit on them though, because how the fuck are they 20-year Atreyu fans and didn't recognize you?
That's what I'm saying. I think
I'm not buying it.
People are a little, but the dude like called out records. He was like, well, because they're all 3 of them are from California.
Okay.
So he was like, "Oh man," he's like, "I saw you at Kung Fu Corner in fucking in the Valley with Avenged Sevenfold and Hopes Fall and fucking."
All right, he might be a real fan. I'll give it to him.
Yeah, I'm like, damn. But the one dude, my neighbor across the street, tried to be cool at first. He tried to be like, "Oh, like he didn't know," and then he like was like showed me his gym playlist one day. I was like, okay, like we're still fine. But I immediately so in our neighborhood, Kellen from Memphis Mayfire lives like a 5-minute walk, and Matt 0936 Matt lives 4 houses down. So if anyone knows who my band is, I just immediately out them like, oh yeah, totally. Have you ever heard of Memphis Mayfire? Yeah, he lives down the street. You ever heard of 09? He lives right over here. Just fully out them.
Do you live close to Cody from Wage War and Maddie Mullins? Because they all live in this. Maddie, Cody, and Aaron Gillespie are all like in the same cul-de-sac, basically.
Yeah, they're in Spring Hill. It's like I'm like 8 minutes away. They have their neighborhood, and then we have our neighborhood. We actually had a joke the other day that we feel like Middle Tennessee is really holding it down for the metalcore scene right now.
It sure is. Like, it sure seems that way.
Really holding it down. You got us. You got Wage. You got Memphis. Yeah, under us.
It's great. Neighborhood wars, man, like the old school gang wars.
We should.
Don't come on my street.
If I could talk my wife into it, I would move there too.
Are you still looking for that video?
Yes, because I'm determined to fucking find it without derailing the podcast.
You're derailing.
No,
did Brandon? Did you grow up in Orange County or?
I lived in Orange County from like 12 to 2 years ago.
Oh, okay. So
I lived in Northern California for a little bit, but grew up there the whole time, and then just kind of decided to jump off a cliff. There it is. There's the shot.
But is that do you have proof that that's to me?
Who is that at the top of that?
Oh shit!
Bad friend. Anyway, continue. So yes, you grew up in Orange County.
We grew up in Orange County. Yeah, just decided to kind of jump off a cliff and do something new. Well, best decision I ever made. I'm trying to get everyone I know to move to Middle Tennessee. It's so fucking good.
I love it. We went and we wrote with Cody for the record that came out last year. We spent like 3 or 4 days at his place, and I love the vibe. Like I fully love the vibe. And I've always loved Nashville in general, but like just you guys are like just far enough outside of like true downtown that it's like not miserable and it's like kind of peaceful and quiet.
Yeah, I've found that you don't live in Nashville proper unless you're like single or in your 20s.
Sure.
Other than everyone lives in the burbs.
Yeah, fair. Did you move there? Like, was part of moving there like trying to get into like songwriting and like that kind of stuff, or is it just like you just needed a change of pace?
Sort of. I mean, I feel like I was probably kind of walking in the same doors, so to speak, in Southern California for 10 years as a writer. And I've done a good amount of writing for like TV, film, and sync and stuff too. So even in that realm, it was just kind of like working with the same people that I knew. Unless you're kind of in the right place at the right time, I feel like those like, glory sessions don't really happen. You know what I mean? It's like, it's very much dependent on like, oh, I was here this day and so-and-so walked in and then we worked, you know what I mean? So there was a little part about it that was kind of like, let's go open some new doors and let's see what happens. I mean, there's not like a huge part of me that's trying to like be a country writer.
Sure.
But I feel like there is definitely some new people that I've already met. That's awesome. Like I'm literally working with Cody tomorrow. So it's like,
that's cool.
It's cool to kind of just get in with some new people and get some new energy,
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Sometimes it's nice to just break yourself out of the same routine you've been in just to like re-inspire yourself, re-injuvenate yourself. Like I fully back that. I fully back that.
And that's literally why I was saying we went to Tokyo to write.
Right.
That was the reason. It's like, let's try to do as much of this next album as like far off from the norm as possible.
I mean, that was our approach with the last record too, was like, it was the first time that we did do the round with different co-writers and stuff instead of just picking like one producer and that's your person for the whole record. It was very much for us like we need to break ourselves out of our normal habits, and force ourselves into maybe some uncomfortable positions and see what comes of it. And we ended up loving it. I kind of wish we would have done it sooner. So
for sure. I mean, I feel like even if things are good, I think it's still necessary to like kind of shift, like we had done 3 records in a row with John Feldman. It was our 4th total. It was our 3rd in a row with him. And the last 2 were very much that same kind of thing where it was like, someone new in the room every day doing writes with different people. And like those experiences were insane. Like we got to write with some of the most random people that we never would have even thought we'd be in the room with, and that were like really different for our genre too. So it was like really new, interesting perspective. And we love our last record. Like we're like, man, that really turned out great. But it was like, it's just time to shake it up a bit. It's time to just do the routine differently. So we decided we're doing a record with this dude, Matt Pauling, who's an old friend of mine. He used to play guitar in my other band, Hell or High Water, that I had, years ago. But he's kind of flourished into this like an incredible producer. And it was like, want to make a record? We're going to go to Tokyo to write. We're going to go to my aunt lives on this island off the coast of Washington. We're going to go there in the middle of the woods and write for a week. And then we'll finish the record at your house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like,
that's cool though.
We're not doing like any, like there's like, it's just the 4 of us and Matt writing the whole record. So it's so like just awesome. Everything about it is just shifted. But it's like, I think that's so necessary, even if things are going great.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
What does that look like? Like, did you rent a studio in Tokyo? Did you just get an Airbnb and go hang out for a week? Or like, what does that look like?
So we just rented an Airbnb. And then he brought like, kind of just like his Apollo and a preamp and a mic. And then we literally like Amazon, like a mic stand, a pop screen. We Amazon monitors that got shipped to Tokyo. When we got there, we bought like a little folding table and just like built a little kind of rig, and brought our guitars. And it was on the way to do a show in Indonesia. So we kind of like had our guitars already. So it was like certain things we already had there. we would just wake up every morning, like start riffing around, get a song, get a demo, and then like go out and do fun shit at night.
So
Like,
cool.
It was
that's cool.
It was insane. I felt bad for the entire neighborhood because like it was like a quiet little corner of Tokyo, and like we would come home hammered from the bar like 2, and Matt, our producer, would be like, "Dude, listen to this shit we made today." We'd be like cranking it, like just just fully American, just like in the worst way possible. But yeah, I mean, it
happens.
It was that, and my aunt, a friend of my aunt, has this like insane house on the water, on the San Juan Island, just like off the coast of Seattle. And it was like, well, we had a random conversation like 2 years ago. I'm like, this would be a great place to make a record. And she's like, well, if you ever want to do that, just call me and let me know. And she straight up gave us her house for like a week.
Wow.
So it's just like same thing, but it's fun, man. It's definitely been a different approach, and what's coming out of it is just like supernatural, not supernatural like aliens or ghosts, but just really natural.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know what I find most cool about it is, as far into your career as you guys are, the fact that you guys are still like excited and inspired to do it, because it's like, dude, like the music industry, I don't want to say this and sound like, oh, boo-hoo, the music industry's tough, because like it's a really fucking cool job that we get to do, right? But it can crush your soul in a second and like really make you question your life choices. So it's cool that this far into your career, like you guys are still fucking stoked to be doing it. I love that.
And I would argue that we're more excited now than we were like when we were 20.
That's fucking cool.
I don't know if it's just like, I mean, our situation in our band has been different, like we were a band for 20 years and then had a pretty major lineup change and had to sort of like reprove ourselves to the world and like make people hopefully think that we were still great.
Right.
You know what I mean? And at the same time, continue forward movement with people that had no idea who we were. So there's that kind of rejuvenation. And I think there's just been kind of like little things that have happened along the way that have just like brought us closer and just kind of heightened like the overall respect in the band, and it just like makes us stoked. And to be quite honest, we've been a band for 25 years and there's a shitload of things that we have not accomplished. So it's like, like the road is still long. So it's like I think we're very just cognizant of that, and there's so much shit that we just still want to do. So like you have to care and be stoked to accomplish those things.
It's interesting. We talked earlier today about the goalpost constantly moving, and it's like every time you get to one spot, it's like, all right, cool. Well, we made it here. Now the goalpost just moved 50 yards further. So now what do we got to do to keep going and get to that next one? And then for some reason, and I don't know if it's just our industry or what it is, but for some reason that goalpost, like you can never score that final point. Like that goalpost constantly continues to get further and further. And with every accomplishment, like even my wife, we have this conversation, like how come nothing is like, why is it never enough? And I don't have the answer to that. Like, why is it never enough? We've gotten to experience and do all these different cool things and throughout our lives and our career, but how come it's simply not enough? And why does that goalpost continue to move?
I mean, I think it's just because, we make art and the evolution doesn't stop,
Right.
Evolution doesn't go backwards. And it's one of those things where...
Great point.
I mean, it's like you said, it's like Dan's, our guitar player, said this, and it's like, you climb to the top of a mountain only to realize there's always a taller mountain.
Yeah,
and I think that's the thing that kind of keeps us stoked. And we've tasted some of these things, like we've done, like we've played arenas enough to go, well, we want to headline arenas.
Yeah.
We've lived a comfortable enough lifestyle on tour to be like, well, I want to do that all the time and more.
Right.
You kind of like, and then you're a product of your surroundings too. Like being in a band for so long, you end up being friends with all these other bands, and you have the Avenged Sevenfolds and the Shinedowns and the MGKs of the world that you're like, damn, like we're not shit. I want to do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you go, you do shows with Iron Maiden, and you're like, damn, this is a career.
Right.
This is longevity, legacy shit. And it's like you have bits and pieces of that, but in no way, shape, or form is it like there's always a taller mountain. You know?
There's always a taller mountain. That's a great way to put it. I think that in
itself is one of the exciting things.
Yeah.
And also in the music industry too. It's funny you said like, there's beauty in being an artist and a musician and being in a band. It's the best thing in the world. It's not a job. I don't think it's a job, but being in the music business is the job. And that's the thing that can crush your soul, where it's like you're climbing a mountain to realize there's a taller mountain, but all of a sudden, every time you get to the top of that mountain, you also realize it's disintegrating underneath you.
Yes.
And you have to pivot and have to keep growing and keep going forward. So it's like, that's the part that can be difficult, but also super inspiring if you let it be inspiring.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Because if you don't pivot, you lose relevance.
When it's the perfect example, we were talking about this the other day. I was talking to my wife about Papa Roach, and they're such a great example of a band who has kind of pivoted and kind of moved and twisted into all these different versions of themselves. It's always Papa Roach at the end of the day, no matter how far they push in either direction.
Yep.
And it's one of those things where, like, just now, like right now as we speak, I think Papa Roach is doing the biggest headline tour they've ever done.
100%.
Bigger than when they were in their heyday back in the day, or one of their many heydays. And the only thing that is constant and makes sense for why they got there is they just never stopped.
Yep.
They never stopped.
You know what I mean?
And
it's crazy. And that's inspiring to me too, where you're like, just got to keep on trucking. We
were talking about this earlier. He's got to be pushing 50 at this point, I would imagine.
Yeah.
That I would put that motherfucker up against any front man today, match his energy.
Yep.
Dare you.
I dare you. It is insane.
He's got God tier level charisma.
Oh, and he's just walking electricity.
Yes.
Like,
it's insane.
The dude, literally, he sang a song on our record, Baptized. The song was literally a throwaway. It was not going to make the record. And we were like, well, what if we can get Jacoby on it? And then he actually did it, and it turned a dump song into, oh shit, this is one of my favorites on the record.
Yeah.
He just has that thing. And even off stage, he's just electric. You know what I mean? Like, he was one of the first people that I saw and that knew about our lineup shit. And he was literally one of the first people I told. And it was like, oh, sorry, like, you're going to be singing in the band. And like the freaking high school football coach pep talk that dude gave me, like, it was like he made me believe in myself for no other reason than that's just what he does.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like I think that his energy is just who he is, and he just so happens to have an outlet on stage for everyone else to enjoy it. You know what I mean?
So
like,
awesome.
It's crazy.
It's insane. We did a show with them. Budapest, maybe?
Was it in Europe?
It was a festival.
Was it Rock Attack? Did TGI play too?
Maybe.
Because
it would have been
I feel like I remember that.
It would have been in 2015. I know Asking was on it.
Yep.
You were there for that?
Yep. It was Rock Attack, and it was in I don't remember. But I was going to bring this up. I had a crazy interaction with him that day also.
It was just I was watching him from side stage, and I was just fucking blown away at the energy and the way he had that crowd. Like, we use this analogy in the palm of his hand, but I mean, if there was a better analogy than that, I mean, he had complete, utter control of that crowd. It was in his pocket, going home with them. It was insane.
Yep.
It was in Luxembourg. That's where it was. And I was sitting in, the TGI guys had met him at a previous like a festival circuit like a few years prior, and so that they like loosely knew him, but there was only one room in this backstage area that had Wi-Fi, so I was sitting in that room with like Andrew and Zach, and somebody comes in, and I'm like laying down my phone and hear him say, "What's up, guys?" And I look up, and it's just Jacoby and me, somebody who grew up like a Papa Roach fan and watching Scarred on MTV and shit. I'm like at as close to like, you know, starstruck as you can get in a moment like that, and I'm like, but he, like, you know, somebody with his status and profile could just like totally cool guy anybody if they wanted. And he is he doesn't have a bit of cool guy in him. He is the most down to earth dude on the planet. Like the way that he talked to me, somebody he had never met before that moment, it felt like I'd known him forever. You know, he's just like that cool.
Well, I think that, like I said, like that's that thing that he just lets out on stage. Like people that have that personality, it's contagious. You just want to be part of it.
Yep.
So it's like that's if you can have that as a front man, that is game over. Like that's you want. You know. Speaking of you, this is totally just random, and I'm just thinking about it because you've said TGI in the last few minutes a couple times. How have you guys never done some sort of like video update or like a merch drop or something called TGI Fridays?
Ooh,
You know,
solid.
I don't know. And we've also in the past year done a couple like goofy knockoff type things. Like we did,
I know.
We did a pizza.
I'm still waiting on my Taco Bell one, by the way.
Oh,
I haven't got mine yet either, to be fair.
Okay.
We did a Pizza Hut one that was like no one out breakdowns the ghost inside, and then we did a Taco Bell one that was for whom the bell tolls, which is a line from one of our songs. It just got the Taco Bell logo, and so it's like, yeah, why the fuck haven't we done it? You know what? I'm gonna write a text to our manager
even if it
right
was
after
just like
this.
a weekly video update, you know, on tour, and it was TGI Friday for every Friday.
That's smart.
Maybe we got to start doing that. And you know what? I'll toss you a $couple bucks here for that idea. Thanks, bud.
I'll take a small cut on the back end. You know?
Easy, no problem. We'll work it out.
Let's rewind a bit to like when did music first find its way into your life? Like, did you grow up in a musical household, or is it something that you kind of found? Like for me, it was rebellious, right? I found music that way, but like, what how was it for you?
So, I mean, it was a musical household. Like my dad listened to a lot of music. We used to call my dad Mr. Radio when I was younger because he like knew every fucking song that came on somehow. But super young, like my dad kind of got us into like, you know, Petty and Roy Orbison, like Traveling Wilburys, you know, Joe Cocker, like he loved stuff like that. And you know, and like my uncle was super into like Fleetwood Mac. So like there was always influence in music that I liked. But I think the thing that kind of got me into wanting to play music, this and super random, I think it was just time and place where it hit me, was Weezer Blue Album. And me and like a buddy would like watch the Buddy Holly video after school, like if it came on TV, and like, you know, like we would kind of like, we thought they were just so cool. And I like Say It Ain't So was the first song I learned how to play on drums, where it was like literally buckets and like a golf club with a tambourine taped to it. So like I just thought that was cool, and like playing in a band would be really cool. And then what really got me like really wanting to do this was, I think, kind of like the Orange County hardcore scene, which you guys can kind of probably relate to a little bit, where it's like there was just something going on at those shows where it was like, wait a second, this many people will pay to go into a room and then absolutely lose their fucking minds. And it is violent and it is chaotic, but it is like super community based and all the stuff that kind of made me like, it was like, we have to do this. Like we need to start doing this. I want to feel that, you know what I mean? So I think that was the kind of thing. It definitely, I mean, I think it was just, it came from there. And, that's what really made me want to start kind of playing shows. And, you know, we were in like a punk band when we were in junior high, elementary school. Like my mom would literally drive us to shows and like sell merch while there was like punks throwing up their 40s out in front of the venue, you know, like, and like, it was a rough scene, but it was just like, we just thought it was cool. You know what I mean? But it's funny because the original influences was like kind of Petty and all that kind of stuff didn't come back around till I was like a young teenager. You know, that was like when I was really, really young. And then it was like, became a young teenager, started playing in bands, and then was like, oh, this is actually really awesome again. Like, this is all what I need to be paying attention to also. You know?
Did you start on drums, or did you start as a singer? And how did you discover that you could sing the way, like, at what point did you go, oh, wait a minute, I think I have something here with my voice?
Is one of those everything happens for a reason type situations. Started on drums. I played drums in our original punk band. Me and Dan and Alex had a punk band called Retribution.
Okay.
And then we kind of just hated the punk scene locally. Like it was just like everyone hated us because we were from like a blue collar town. And it was like, bro, we're 13. We don't even have jobs yet. Don't blame me because my parents have a good job.
Right.
It wasn't punk to be like, you know. So we liked the hardcore scene more. So we kind of started Atreyu, made the music sound like that. And randomly, during early Atreyu, me and Dan also started like a pop punk band. And randomly, he had like a buddy who had like a 24 track recorder, and he was going to bring his shit over to Dan's, and we were going to do demos for the pop punk band. And our singer at the time, who randomly ended up being the guitar, he was the original guitar player for Cold War Kids. Randomly.
Right.
There's so many weird like octopus tentacles that go off of where we're from. He just couldn't make it. So I had written a song and that I wanted to record, and Dan's like, why don't you just sing it? So we have a vocal, and then our singer can sing it later. and we sang it. And if you listen to it now, it's god awful. I sound like a tone deaf Matt Skiba or something. Like it's bad. It's bad. Or it's more Dan. I sound like Dan from Outlying Trio, but it's like horrible. But I think it was me recording that made Dan go like, wait, you can do that? Like, why don't you do that in Atreyu? Like, and at the time, it was like, oh, we're in like a hardcore, like kind of metal band. Like nobody sings also. There's not like a tons of bands that we know that are like singing. Maybe we'll just do that too. So it started from there. And then I think maybe 10 years in, I started caring less and less about playing drums and just focused on trying to be a good singer. And then it worked out again.
How in the fuck did you play drums and sing at the same time? I always have wondered that. It's like growing up, it was you and Aaron Gillespie that I remember that were the two drummer singers. And I was like, man, I just don't, I couldn't fathom it. I don't know.
I wish I had an answer, dude. It's just like, I think I must have got dropped as a child and that part of my brain just allows things to happen at the same time.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I never, I don't know. It just kind of worked. I think because I was always singing along anyways. I tend to write music in a way that's like awkwardly, not self-inspired, but I just write songs that I want to hear.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, oh, I heard that song that made me want to write. It's like, I just write stuff that I think I want to listen to.
Right.
So I think like early on when we started a band and writing our own songs, it was like, I would always sing them anyways, because I just thought the songs were cool live. So maybe I was just kind of used to it already. There's definitely been some hiccups. Like there's definitely been some shit that we wrote in the studio. Then I'll go to like play later. And it's like, that's not going to be in the set a lot.
Whoopsie.
Yeah.
So we had Brian Fair from Shadows Fall on the show, and I brought up to him how impactful like a lot of the bands from the New England like metal and hardcore scene were for me growing up. Yeah. And you mentioned like all of the like your metal hardcore scene, metalcore scene, whatever, out in Orange County. Also wildly influential to me. And it's like, I feel like throughout the history of like our world of music, there's been little pockets of the world who are kind of like leading the charge. And I feel like it went from like the Northeast over to Orange County. And for a while, like all of the bands who were like really fucking killing it in this world of music were all Orange County bands. Like, what do you think it was about that area that was like just pumping out these bands that were really just like really shifting how everybody operated, like the way we all dressed and looked, what bands sounded crazy. Like not just musically, but like sonically even, I feel like what do you think it was about that area that like really kind of just it brought all of this, change to the genre of like metal, metalcore, hardcore, all of that kind of stuff?
I think you nailed it. We were just super cute. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Total cuties.
I will say so in Orange County it was weird. You had the Outsiders, which were us and Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah.
Then you had like the cool kids that were all from like South County, like towards the beach. That was 18 Visions, Throwdown, Bleeding Through, and anything that spawned off of those bands, right? Those dudes all looked so fucking cool. I don't know where it came from, but they all looked fucking cool as shit.
Yep.
I think obviously the music was good too, but one of the things I think that dudes in other bands were like, oh fuck, were straight up like, those dudes are getting chicks. Like those dudes are like handsome. We were not in that camp. Like we were just trying to do our thing and like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I had some fucking pretty sick hair back in the day and definitely wore pants that were too small and a bunch of eyeliner, but
everyone did.
I think that the dudes looked cool, and then like I think that there was like this lore of the Orange County scene that like it's like what I said before. There was like this lore of like, wow, that's wild. Like you got to go play Showcase or Chain Reaction because the shows are fucking crazy. So it just kind of made this little landmark of whatever. But in our eyes, I was obviously fans of all those bands locally, but then outside of that world, for me, it was like Poison the Well and Killswitch.
Yeah.
The two bands that I was like, holy shit, like they're doing it. And to me, for some reason, they just seemed like so much more professional than we did. I remember like finding out like Adam D was producing records and like their like production on even their older stuff sounded so much bigger and like more pro. And then like Poison the Well did the record with like the dudes that did Refused. And it was like whoa, like, how are they doing this? Like, how are they getting that to happen? So, like, in my eyes, I looked at kind of the East Coast for being like, oh shit, like, those are the bands that are like, they're on another level, you know?
Right.
So, I think it's all just perspective of where you come from, you know.
That's
I think
fair.
that like California's just got more style than the Northeast, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But at the same time, like the Northeast has got maybe they rip harder than we do, and that's a fact.
Yeah, it's just crazy because I do feel like those like little pockets pop up where you can feel like because you know, like it was the Northeast for a while, then it was Orange County, then like for a minute, Rise had a ton of bands that were coming out of Ohio that were like a big deal, and then it's all these British bands that were like everybody's trying to sound like Architects now. Oh, but wait, everybody's trying to be Parkway Drive and Polaris. It's so weird to watch like where the main inspiration is coming from.
Yeah, like there is like I feel like there was a huge like SoCal influence. There was a huge New England influence. Like the UK thing was gnarly.
Yep.
Like for a while, like I mean, I remember back in the day, we took Bullet out on their first UK tour, and it was like, and we were like, this band's going to be huge. This sounds like a metalcore or whatever you want to call it band, but there's something that's just like elevated and cool. And then so many bands wanted to sound like that. The same thing with the Architects thing, or like the Bring Me thing too. Like I feel like that the UK thing has bled more into the music scene even now than anything else.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Bring Me and even Architects now, it's like everyone is just trying to do or keep up with whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
And which is like dope. They're making dope shit, but it's like, well, everyone can't do that.
Like, yeah. It's everyone's trying to keep up with Bring Me, Architects, and whatever Cody is writing, basically.
We literally joked. I had this conversation with Cody, and I was like, because he was like, "Oh man, like let's get in and on this new record." And I was like, "Hey man, like I just have to have a really like friend conversation with you." I was like, it came up. Like we talked about writing with you, and we talked about a bunch of different producers, and everyone kind of got ruled out because our main sort of like objective for this next album was let's try and sound nothing like anyone. Like we don't want to sound because we were like, what made us special when we first came out? And it was like we didn't sound like anybody. We had like our own lane, and it was a weird lonely lane, but it worked. It was like, let's create that lane again. And it was like, so that means we can't work with True Folk, we can't work with Feldman, we can't work with Cody, because that's the genre.
Yep.
Like that is every single band in the genre.
Yep.
And it was like, what they're doing is phenomenal, but it was like, well, we can't do it because we're trying to just do the opposite for better or worse, you know? Right. He's like, I get it. Like that, I'm not mad at that, you know, like, but, I mean, yeah, the dude, Cody is fucking murdering.
He's a genius.
And the dude is a ripper. Like you've been in the room with him, like the things that he just like fucking shits out. You're like, I'm sorry, what?
Yep.
Like, yeah, dude, another one of those dudes is fucking Jonathan DeLeese.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
He's another dude too that he just like, it's like drops rippers like they're just like pennies out of his pocket. Like, oh, whoops, I made this. And you're like, oh, fuck. Like it's crazy.
He's still up and coming too. So a lot of people think he's got a really bright future ahead of him.
We've been talking about going to work with him actually.
He is a absolute killer. He's such a good dude too. Same dude with Kellen from Memphis Mayfire.
He's crushing these days too. Yeah,
I did hear he was starting to do some writing stuff.
He's on the producing tip. He's
killing it with the mixes these days too.
We've been doing. I'll just say kind of a secret thing with him lately that people will know about later, but we always joke and we're like, oh man, so good that you don't realize how good you are yet. like so great that like you're 7 minutes away from being too big for us anymore.
Right.
But like there's so many fucking talented people out there, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
I mean for sure, like Cody and I'll say Drew are two of the dudes that are just like absolutely dominating. 100%. I mean, you look at the Drew posts shit on Instagram. It's like, oh, here's the top 10 at Active Rock. I have 7 of the songs.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, he's like broken some like a crazy number of records in the past like year or two of like number ones on rock radio. Yeah, he's been smashing.
Yeah, you know who else we've had some success with is the JD. He used to be in Ice Nine Kills. Justin DeBleek. I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name.
Guitar player.
Yep.
Yeah. He's doing some really, really cool stuff too right now.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. There's a lot of good dudes out there. It's just gotta. I feel like a lot of times people, it's like you don't know until you know.
Yep.
Yeah,
You know, that's what's
absolutely.
like. We always talk about this. Where, sorry, we went to South America like 2 weeks. I got back like 2 weeks ago, and I've had this like dry cough since I got back.
Isn't that fun? Isn't traveling fun? It totally never backfires in any way, like getting sick or picking up whatever weird viruses you run into.
I think it might have been the fact that on average we got off stage at 11:30, back to our hotel by 12:30, and our average lobby call time was 3 a.m.
Dude, South America travel is rough. The South America and Southeast Asia travel are the worst. The shows are great, but the travel is fucking brutal.
It's difficult.
So you actually mentioned something that we were going to touch on next, and I do think it is important because you mentioned how you guys had a very specific sound that kind of like put you in your own lane. That was pretty different from what was going on in maybe the rest of the Orange County scene, or really the scene in general. Like you guys were pretty early to the like screamy verse, big stingy chorus kind of thing. Where did you guys pull all of those bits of inspiration? Like where did that come from? We all know that music isn't just sound, it's connection, it's healing, it's everything when you're feeling lost. That's why Lateforloadin is partnering with Heart Support, the nonprofit founded by Jay Klurs of August Burns Red to bring real, free peer support straight to you.
Are you feeling down and need someone to talk to? Just text Lateforloadin to 1-512-647-2871 and get connected with someone who understands, someone who gets how music pulls us through the hardest times. It's totally free, totally judgment-free, and 100% about supporting you through the music we love.
And if you're in a good place right now, you can be part of healing the scene. Heart Support is looking for volunteer repliers, fans like you who want to help others through the power of music. You'll be trained to support fellow fans who are struggling and join a community built on connection, mental health, and the music that keeps us going.
And again, if you need support, text Lateforloadin to the number 1-512-647-2871. If you want to be support, sign up at heartsupport.com/volunteer. Together, we're making this scene stronger.
Today's show is sponsored by Bestronix Pro Audio. Let's be real. Your rig is only as solid as the cables running through it. Whether you're touring the world or building out your dream setup at home, you need quality cables that won't let you down. That's where Bestronix Pro Audio comes in. BTPA specializes in full tour rig builds, custom cabling solutions, and if you're the hands-on DIY type, they've got bulk cable and connectors so you can wire up your own setup exactly how you want it. Everything they make is road-tested, built to last, and trusted by the pros. And because you're part of the Lateforloadin crew, BTPA is giving you 10% off your order. Just use the code LFLI10 at checkout and save on the best cables in the business. So don't let bad cables kill your tone or ruin your set. Hit up btpa.com, lock in that discount, and keep your rig dialed and ready for the road. Today's episode is brought to you by you, our incredible listeners and patrons over at patreon.com/LFLIpod. By joining, you'll get early access to episodes, exclusive monthly giveaways featuring rare memorabilia from Josh and I's time on the road, and access to our patron-only music review and reaction live streams. But that's not all. You'll also get into the Lateforloadin Road Crew Discord, where you can connect with fellow fans, submit guest requests, and drop your questions for the show. The best part? It's just $1 a month. If you love what we're doing and want to help keep the show rolling, head over to patreon.com/LFLIpod and join the road crew today. Now, back to the show.
I think that everyone in our band liked kind of their own little pocket of we all agreed on bands, but you know, you had me that was into kind of the classics and like I said, like Tom Petty, that kind of stuff. But then I loved like hardcore. I loved Throwdown and like Shai Hulud. I loved Madball, like all the shit like that. And then, but I also was like kind of into pop music. And then you had Travis, who was into like Deftones and like, but he would like, you know, fucking like Sigur Rós and like just more obscure, kind of off the wall shit. And then Dan had the 80s. Like Dan was into fucking Warrant and Def Leppard and Van Halen.
Oh, and you can so see it when you look at him, and I love it
so
much.
You don't
makes sense.
And to be fair, I grew up with a mom who basically almost exclusively played 80s hair metal when I was with her. So like I look at Dan, I go, I identify with you so much, my man.
Bless her. And honestly, he's one of the dudes that got me into all that shit. Like he's the dude that was like, "Yo, have you actually sat down and listened to Def Leppard?" I'm like, "No." And then it's like, wow, this is fucking great. But, you know, and so it's kind of one of those things where everyone had their own thing, and we've always written songs together. So it was like everyone had their little thing they'd put in that was from their weird corner or wherever their influences came from, and then everything made it, you know? So it's like we weren't back in the day, like we never had the concept of like, oh, we'll write a bunch of songs and like, oh, that one didn't make the record. It wasn't good enough. It was like, oh, we're making a record, write 12 songs and record them.
Right.
Yep.
So it was
All of them
like,
were
I think
going
it just
on.
came off really eclectic. And I will say there's something that's like, it's my biggest sort of love-hate part of our career is the production on our first two albums specifically.
I actually was gonna. Are we? What two records are we talking? Are we talking
I'm
about
saying
Suicide Notes?
and I'm talking about The Curse.
Okay, because I was actually going to bring up specifically the production of Suicide Notes and ask if you like if how that sounds kind of
Bro,
hurts you a little bit because I love the songs. I love that record. Still to this day, I still love it. It's like near and dear to my heart, but it's tough to listen to.
It sucks. It sucks. We went to go do Suicide Notes, and Eric Rachel's dude who produced it. He had done like God Forbid and like a bunch of bands we were into, and those records sounded fucking phenomenal. And we're like, okay, this is the dude. And he was like, his whole thing was like, we went to go record guitars, and he'd be like, yeah, like we're gonna dial back the gain. It's gonna sound so heavy, but the way we layer things, we're just gonna gain it back. Literally, he would get up to piss, and Dan would turn up the gain on the guitars, and he would come back and turn it back down. And we were like, dudes, like this sounds like weenie as fuck. Like these guitars, like they're clean.
Right.
And he's like, no, it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. And then it wasn't. And at the time, I mean, we did that whole record, recorded and mixed that record in 2 weeks.
Oh.
So it was like, there's no time to change or decide or whatever. And also we're 17, you know what I mean? Or whatever, 18. Right. So it's like, we don't know what the fuck we're doing. And it came out, and to our ears, it was like, oh, this sounds like not as heavy as we'd like it to. But then in the landscape, it stood out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things where people are like, this doesn't sound like anything.
Right.
Like maybe I'll give this some time. And I think the songs were there. Like there was, there's a handful of songs on that record that I think were interesting enough for people to grab onto.
Yeah.
But the same happened with The Curse. Like, and not to shit on Garth or Josh Abraham. Josh mixed, not Josh Abraham, sorry, Josh Wilbur. Josh Wilbur mixed the record, and he did a phenomenal job mixing the record. But I mean, that record was recorded weird as fuck. Yeah. We did drums. There's no click and there's no samples on the drums. But then we recorded guitars, like literally note by note. Like hit the chord, tune it, ba-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, tune again, da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. All the guitar solos are fucking... The Bleeding Mascara's fucking riff at the beginning. That was fucking scoodle-it, biddle-loop, scoodle-loop. Not because Dan couldn't play it. That was like, that's just how it had to happen. So everything was like so sterile and just like weird, but it was like you had these like really loose kind of all over the place drums. And then
that's so really backwards because most people will do grid the drums, everything loose around it. You know what I mean? Because that's like, like that's people talk about like a Will Putney record. Like it's like it sounds very modern and polished, but also yet somehow still raw and in your face. And he will track the drums to a click, edit them bitches to a grid, but he doesn't edit anything else around it. It's all really loose around, which makes it give that rawness. But you still have the stable foundation of the drums. That's wild that Garth would do it backwards from that.
Go ahead and try to tempo map The Curse.
I don't want to now. Actually,
wild.
Actually, I'll tell you a secret. That I'm doing a video for my personal YouTube channel about riffs and songs that kind of like change my life and like the way I play guitar and stuff. And I'm putting Right Side of the Bed in it because it's the first guitar solo I ever learned. And I did have to figure out how to tempo map that, and it was a nightmare. Yeah. So all this makes sense now.
For sure. And I mean, again, I was 20-year-old kid. Like I wasn't nearly as good as I am now at drums at all. But again, that record sounded so unique that I think at the time it helped, even like, and God bless Garth, like I don't think he had ever stepped in a room with a band like us. I remember vividly, we would record vocals in like the guest house, and Alex was upstairs kind of in the bedrooms, and then we'd be downstairs, and Alex is like doing takes, whatever. And for the first song we were tracking, and he literally like looks over at me and Dan, he's like, is he supposed to sound like that? And we're like, yeah, like, he's having like a good day. Like, these sounds really good right now.
Right.
And it was like, okay, cool. But like, he didn't fucking know. It was like, I don't think he'd ever recorded a band that was like full screaming, So it's like, for his defense too, it's like, what is this band supposed to sound like?
Right.
When you were, go ahead.
I was saying I think that those records having those specific sounds
Well, it helps
They
them
just
stand
stand
out,
out.
right? They have their own identity in a sea of like of bands, especially at that point. Like by the time the Curse came out, I feel like the scream sing thing was starting to become more normal, and sonically, those records kind of gave you guys, on top of just your own songwriting styling, gave you a sonic identity that was different from everything else.
Yes, 100%.
I was curious that when you guys were writing these songs and these two records probably in particular, did you realize that these were like when you're writing The Curse, did you realize how much of an impact it was going to have, or were you just writing to write?
We thought it was cool. Like we thought we were doing something cool, but it's like, and it's a horrible thing. But like, do you ever really know until a bunch of people tell you? You know what I mean? It's
That's
like,
right. Yeah.
but The Curse was more more methodical. Like we wrote and demoed that whole album and had it in order. Like everything was done when we took it to Garth. Like it was, we actually listened to the demos a few months ago and we were like, damn, it's like 90%.
That's
Like,
crazy.
and so it was definitely more thought out. But like, there's certain moments that I was like, oh, this is like a really interesting thing that we're doing, or this song I think is big. But like, it wasn't till I remember we doing The Curse and then going on Ozfest. And like dudes, like I remember Doc from God Forbid would like came up to me and was like, yo, that You Eclipsed by Me riff, dog. He's like, that fucking, he's humming the riff to me. He's like, fuck out of here. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Like I said, it's like, do you know until people tell you?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
that's the funny thing I think about being in a band is like, it doesn't matter how good you think it is. That's the only reason you should be making it. But like, the only thing for success that matters is if a bunch of other people tell you it's cool.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Right.
I have a really hard time getting overly excited about what what we're doing musically when we're writing a record or something, because I have in the past gotten myself all worked up because I'm like, this record, this is the one. I feel it. I love these songs. I'm so stoked on this. This is the fucking one, and it comes out and does nothing. So now I like almost like work backwards where I'm like, yeah, I really like this, but I don't know. People might not care. I try to Jedi mind my trick into not caring, because I have.
You don't want to be let down.
Yeah, I've like worked myself up to the point in the past where I'm like, this is going to be the one because I know, because I love it so much, and then it ends up not being the one. You know.
For sure. I mean, dude, I've been in the same exact place. I mean, there's just that never-ending bucket of self-loathing that artists have too, where you're like, this all sucks and I'm fucking horrible at this. But then when you do get excited, it's really gnarly. Well, dude, I think that our record "Baptize," I think, is one of our best records. I think that it came out at a really weird time. They came out like right at kind of the end of COVID. We had a different lineup, so there's a lot of things going against it. But that's a record that I still listen to, and I'm like, fuck, man. Like, I thought for sure this was the one.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, I know, it's like I think everyone in the band's felt that thing where you're like, how do you guys not get it?
Right, right.
You guys listen to the same songs I'm listening to? But,
yeah,
but it's like, that's the thing. It's like, that's part of the ride, you know?
100%. 100%.
Do you remember the first like oh shit moment? Like, holy shit, this is happening. Like what is going on here?
Yeah, I've told the story before. So when The Curse came out, we did a signing at the Virgin Megastore, which is at like the block. It's like an outdoor mall in Orange, California.
Yeah.
It's not there anymore, I don't think. It's not there, but so we were like, yeah, they want to do a signing at the Virgin Megastore. At the time, we're like, that's the dumbest idea we've ever heard. Like, but you see on like NSYNC does record store signings and stuff. Like, what are you talking about? And they're like, no, it's going to be cool. Like, it'll be good for your first week, which mattered back then.
Yep.
And we're like, okay, this is going to be embarrassing, but sure, we'll play ball. So we go to drive up to this signing, and it's an outdoor mall. And we're driving, and there's a line of people that's like around the entire thing. And we're like, and all of us are like, man, well, I wonder what else is going on here today. Like, must be a new movie that's coming out or something, whatever. And then we kind of walk in, and our idea was like, oh, we'll go get some food first and then go to the signing. And like that quickly was ended because we couldn't walk through the fucking mall. Like, and we're like, wait, these people are in line at Virgin. Like, this is for our signing. So we're very confused and thrown off by the whole thing, and then continued to sit there for like 7 hours signing shit for people. And it was like thousands and thousands of people. And it was the first time we were like, kind of came out of nowhere. And you're like, I didn't know this many people even knew our band existed, let alone wanted to wait in line to get something signed. Yeah. You know what I mean? But that was the first time that we were like, okay, like, something is happening here.
That's crazy. That's
interesting.
crazy.
Yeah, that is wild.
What were the early days of touring like for you guys?
Nonstop.
Yeah.
I mean, our first tour ever, we hopped in a van, 6 dudes, no trailer, all the gear and merch in the van.
Brutal.
And we went on tour for like 3 months straight. But it was like back then we just started getting opportunities. So it was like, yes. Like our first kind of run was we did like a run with this band called Drowning Man. And then which they were like a small hardcore band. It was small shows. It was, maybe 200 cap venues that were maybe half full. But at the time we're like, well, this is sick.
Right.
And then we got a tour with this band called Sky Came Falling.
I remember that band
for a while. And then our first kind of bigger tour was with Snapcase and Voices Fire.
Sick.
And we were like, whoa, this is cool, like legends. Yeah. We're going out with legends. And from there, we just kept getting opportunities. It would be like, you got an offer to do a CKY tour. And then it was like, oh, you're touring with Shai Hulud. And then, oh, we're doing some shows with Evergreen Terrace. And we're going to add on to this thing and do some shows with Remembering Never. And then it was like, okay, make another record. But then from there, it was like, we got an Ozfest. And then we're doing this and this. It just kind of kept going. So we just kind of we were gone 300 days a year.
Yeah.
And it was just like, powerhouse. But so it was brutal. But at the time, like I said, we were kids. I mean, I turned 18 on our first tour, so like I didn't give a shit back then. I had nothing to care about.
Yeah, of course.
Being on the road,
right? So like the metal and hardcore fans and dudes and bands and whatever can be super like elitist and snobby and shit. And being that you guys were like super early to the screamy, singy, back and forth thing, how much shit were you guys getting from some of these bands you guys were playing with?
And the makeup and stuff like that.
That's true. And like the clothes. Yeah. How much shit were you guys getting at that time?
It was so much, especially from like every band on the East Coast.
Oh, I'm sure.
Or like every older band. Like, we were not cool. It was not cool to think that we were cool. I remember like, what was it? This dude Sully, he used to tour manage Hatebreed. I think he went on.
I know Sully.
Yeah,
I know Sully. He did Slipknot too. Yeah,
he did Slipknot.
Yeah,
I remember we're in catering one day, and I sit down with like him and whatever, like a couple of Hatebreed dudes, whatever it was, and he's like, oh hey, he's like, what's your name? I'm like, oh, I'm Brandon. He's like, what band are you playing? And I'm like, oh, I play in Atreyu. And he goes, oh, yeah, you guys got that song, Smeared Rouge. And then, like, looks around at the table, like, to get laughs. I'm just like, it's called Bleeding Mascara. Like, I understand. I understand that song, sir. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like, it was not chill to be us. But, I mean, that lasted quite a while because, we just kind of dug our heels in and kept doing the thing.
Where did that come from? Like, the whole identity thing?
I think the look. We were super into like bands like Ink and Dagger, and then we were into bands like Alkaline Trio, and like back then, like we thought it was super. Like Ink and Dagger was this like vampire, like kind of post-hardcore band from Philly, and their whole thing that they were like vampires, and like they did like the fucking black makeup and split blood everywhere, and their shows were like horrifying. And when you're young, now you're like, that's fucking funny,
right?
But like we thought it was cool, and like they'd wear all black and like makeup, and then like like Alkaline Trio back in the day would do like the all black with like a red tie and like eyeliner. So it was like we were kind of inspired by that and just trying to do something that would make us stand out at all, like it wasn't just like jeans and t-shirt kind of thing, and just try and like stand out a little bit.
Yep.
That's kind of where it started, and then we just ran with it. I always liked that shit way more than anyone else. Like whenever there was like what's that?
Was there any fear? Was there any fear with leaning into that, or was it just like, fuck it, let's go?
I didn't ever think about it. I don't think. I just there was certain shit that I thought was cool. Like, I like I said, like the 18 Visions dudes were always super handsome, and I thought they looked super fucking cool.
Yeah,
like,
I mean they were always very fashion conscious.
And even like older AFI, like we thought that shit was awesome.
Yeah.
And like I was super into like him and like random kind of like more goth shit. So I thought that shit was cool anyways. So I never really was scared. Also, I'm like one of the bigger dudes I've ever met in my life, so I've never like been too worried about someone.
Right. Who's gonna run their mouth to you?
So it doesn't happen often.
Right.
It should, because I'm a big pussy, but it doesn't.
Right. I just you know, I remember there was a period where like it was very not cool, and it probably still is considered this, but I don't really care. So maybe it does still matter to some people, but I'm just not aware because I don't give a shit. But it was very uncool to be like, you know, have breakdowns and also singing and screaming and also singing. Like it was like people look down on him like, but why?
I always loved it.
Me too.
Those were always my favorite fucking bands.
Me too. I just didn't know, like, with you guys being so early into that wave, if you guys were just getting ripped on left and right.
I think we were, but then there was that thing, without sounding cocky, we were fucking doing good.
Yeah.
So it was like, what can you really say?
Right.
It's like, like we're gay, like, oh, look, we're wearing girls' jeans and fucking makeup, like,
right.
Oh, we sing choruses, like whatever. It was like,
but
we're selling more tickets than you.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
It was, we definitely for sure firsthand witnessed that whole thing where it was like, we weren't cool until it was beneficial to think.
Right. Until everybody wanted to get an offer for a tour from you. Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It was like, oh, okay. But I mean, it was what it was. And I think we got lucky that we ended up starting to do good. Also, I think that we were dipping our toes in the rock world more, where we're doing stuff with, like, we're doing tours with like The Used or Taking Back Sunday, or even like CKY, that was not a metal crowd. So they didn't think that it was that weird. Like they all kind of they could look the same. Obviously, like we'd go out with like tour with like Lamb of God, and that might be a different situation when you have like you know, like we did a tour, was us, 18 Visions, or it was 18 Visions, Chimera, us, and Lamb of God, and it was literally like Pretty Boys metal band, Pretty Boys metal band, like it was like alternating who was into what as the show went on.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it was kind of just rolled with it. And I think because we were doing good, it was like that was our only that was the only like flex we had to make back.
Yeah.
I want to touch on the hiatus, but before we do that, we skipped over how, because we talked to earlier today. We did an episode with Ollie from the band Broadside, and we talked to him about what it was like for him to sign to Victory. And we totally jumped over that piece of the puzzle for you guys. So how did Victory come into the picture for you guys?
We did a demo, sent it to everyone on Earth. No one cared. We made one more EP. We're like, this is it. If people pick this up, cool. If they don't, we're going to pivot and start something else. And, some random label in North Carolina called Tribunal Records. It's a really small record label.
I remember that label.
I remember them too. Yeah.
They put out like the OG, like From Autumn to Ashes stuff. And like, they found us, put out the EP. Within like a month of that coming out, someone at Victory, this girl Kathy that used to work at Victory, found us. They flew out, watched us play, and then we signed to Victory. It was kind of one of those things where we were like, oh, you're lying, this isn't actually you. And they're like, no, we want to come to your show next week. So we're like, all right, we'll see if you exist. Because to us back in the day, like that was one of those labels we didn't think was going to happen. You know what I mean? It was like you hoped back in the day to get on like Trustkill or Victory or something. You know what I mean?
So Victory, Trustkill, and Ferret were like the big ones for our genre. Yeah,
exactly. Which I mean, I think turned into all be pretty like shot labels business wise. But it's like we got signed and it was just kind of off to the races. But it was, I mean, we have the same horror stories as everybody else. I will proudly say we're, I think, one of the only bands to just fulfill our contract with Victory
and then get the fuck out.
and get the fuck out. It was an interesting get the fuck out, but you know, it was just a wild thing. I mean, they did a lot of stuff to grow our band, but they did a lot of other things to not make us have money. So
yeah. Well, it's like, they did stuff to grow your band, but also your band did the heaviest lifting to grow your band by writing great songs and having a great image and like going on tour and busting your ass. So like, and not to take anything away from labels, I think labels still are important, right? But you know, the way that Victory notoriously, you know, treated their bands is so fucked.
Well, and that was sort of his business model. He would sign like 20 bands, like throw them all against the wall,
and just see which one stuck, and then fuck all the rest.
His bands, and the ones that stuck, would be like, all right, put more money into that, put more money into that. I mean, even you have like, you know, genius businessman, like the dude. I mean, look at Hawthorne Heights. Hawthorne Heights had the fast success they did in the beginning, and not to discount their band at all, but like when you bought the Taking Back Sunday, Tell All Your Friends record, Hawthorne Heights album came with it in the thing for free, and it counted as a scan.
Right. Oh. Right.
Like, who thinks of that?
You know Tony Brummel, apparently.
Crazy.
Yeah. But
That's
yeah,
crazy. I
we
didn't
did
know
our
that.
time, and even to this day, there's big decisions we made that I wish we wouldn't have made regarding that label. But you just kind of live and learn. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
of course.
Yeah, for
We all
sure.
live to tell another story.
Yeah, I mean, you guys outlived the label, so good on you guys.
Yeah, thanks to a day to remember.
Yep. You know what? Thank you, boys.
Thanks, boys.
So, all right. So the hiatus. What led to the hiatus, and what made you guys decide to fucking get back on the horse?
I think we were just burnt. I mean, I kind of touched on earlier the way we used to tour and being totally transparent. I think that our album "Congregation of the Damned" was the first time in our career that didn't necessarily hit a dip, but it kind of hit a lull. I would say we can call it a dip. Like I remember we put out that record. The first week didn't do as good as Lead Sales did. We were on tour at the time, and like the tour was like good, but not as good as we usually did.
Right.
And I think it really like that it's that fucking reality check for the first time in a band, and we were lucky enough that came on record 4. You know what I mean?
Right.
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 So it was like okay. I think everyone was kind of getting a little fried, within the band. We're kind of, picking at each other and just kind of getting, irritated and burnt. And we had it was weird because the way it all happened, like I had started kind of talk to my wife and was like, I don't know, like things just kind of seem, I think after this cycle, I might try to do like my own record, like maybe make a solo record. I had started working, on like a solo project. And then we played a show in House of Blues, Orlando, which was funny because we thought the bummer of the night was we usually sold out 2 nights at House of Blues Orlando.
Right.
And on this tour, we only sold out 1 night.
Oh,
and
no.
And the second night was only like 60%.
Oh shit! Everything's over.
So like we're just like fuck. And I think we had this conversation. It was like, what if after this cycle, like the world doesn't know Atreyu for a while? We just disappear. Like we could all use a break, whatever. And everyone was like into it, which was weird because it was like, oh, I didn't think we'd all agree on this.
Right.
And but yeah, I thought in my mind, I thought we were breaking up. I thought it was over. I thought it was nicely padded as a hiatus. And I remember we played our last show at House of Blues LA, and we played the show. I got off stage and like was just like bawling because it was like, oh, this is it. My wife like threw a jacket over my head and ran me to the car, and we pieced out because it was just like, I think this is it, and then we're done. So in my head, it was like, I don't think everyone felt the same, but for some reason in my head, I just thought it was done.
Sure.
And me and our old singer didn't get along great at the time too. So I think we were kind of at each other's throats a little bit. But I had already kind of started another band. Like I had immediately started another project, and I was like about to put out music, and I just jumped right back on the horse, and I was touring. And Dan tried to get us back like every 6 months. He would make a call. Hey, what's up, guys? Whatever. Like, have you talked to any of the guys lately? I'm like, no, just you, Dan. Like, just talked to Porter the other day, or like, I've just mostly you. Like, it's like, oh, let's have lunch or something. And I'm like, nah, like I'm on tour. Like Hell or High Water's on tour. And there was times where I'm like, oh, you should come out and hang out with us. Like, just come chill. But I was just staying busy. And then eventually, I think it got to the point where he was like, hey, man, I think you should just like go. Me and our old singer had gone through some similar like life shit. And he was like, I think you should just call him and just like have lunch and just maybe see if you guys are good.
Right.
So we went and had lunch one day. It was chill. We had a good time. And from there, Dan started spinning the wheels. Now it was like you connected those two. Yep. And then we just kind of started talking, and we're like, maybe let's play a show. Let's see how that goes. And to our surprise, again, it was kind of like overly great. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, let's do a chain show, and it sold out in 40 seconds. And it was like, okay, let's do another night, and it sold out in 2 minutes. And we're like, okay, people still care.
Right.
Like we're getting some random big festival offers. Like, let's jump on the horse again. And it's funny because in retrospect, I was thinking about this the other day about how like nostalgia is such a huge thing right now, and like people are digging into the kind of nostalgia play, which we are as well. And it took us a while to sell us on it, I think. But like when we came back, I remember us and Under Oath were sort of coming back at the same time,
Right.
and they, to their credit, they did it right. Where it was like, they were like, let's just go play our old albums and remind people why they love us.
Yep.
In our heads, it was like, no, let's put out new shit and remind people why they still love us. You know what I mean?
Right.
And both worked well. Theirs just worked crazy well and put them back into a higher seat than they were ever in the first place.
Sure.
So it was like, but that's kind of just what got all the wheels turning and got us back in the same room, and that turned into another album and just kind of turned into going. And we all lied to ourselves at first, and we're like, yeah, we're tour for like 2 weeks at a time, and like everything's on our own terms. And then you do 2 of those tours and realize you're like, oh wait, our break even point's at 2 weeks. Like,
right,
be able to make money again.
You're right.
Like,
yeah, right.
So, but yeah, that's kind of just spitballed into us going full out again.
Well, thanks, Dan. Thanks for bringing the boys back.
Yeah, no, you can blame Dan for Atreyu existing still.
I love it.
I am curious because you talked about Suicide Notes so much. Would you ever consider the production on it? Would you ever consider re-recording that record and putting that record out?
Fuck yes.
Because that would be
I would consider re-recording both of those first 2 records.
Really?
Yeah. Man, I mean, just because I don't know, like, I don't take offense when you were like, yeah, they're hard to listen to. I know.
Well, I don't think The Curse is hard to listen to. It's it doesn't maybe hold up to like modern production standards, but I think
could you imagine that record with great production?
Oh, dude, it would be fucking. It would be. Crushing. I mean, it's already like a fucking top tier record in my opinion. It's a massive record for me, but you give it modern production, and I think it sends it even further over that edge. So
that would just be insane.
It would. So that would
to listen to those records re-recorded.
I'm about it because I want to have. Living with those records for so long, I want to have a representation that I'm even more currently proud of.
That's fair.
So that's why I'm game for that. But also, too, like, I'm about re-recording the shit and owning it. Like,
fair.
And fans should know. People listening to this podcast, fans should know.
Yep, give it to them.
I agree.
If your favorite band re-records their album, it's probably because they did it on their own time and on their own accord, and it's now owned by them. So when you listen to that new recording, you are giving every penny that you are streaming those songs, whatever, to the band. The label's not getting shit. No one's getting shit. You're contributing to the band.
Yep.
I think now ownership is everything.
Yep.
Being a career musician, so it's like I would do that shit over again just to fucking own versions of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because now we're better musicians.
Look at fucking Taylor Swift, man.
Yeah, I always wondered what the fuck it took me forever to realize what that Taylor's version meant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then I learned about the re-record clause and all that good stuff. And now it's, man.
So smart.
Really
it's
smart.
So fucking smart.
Really smart. But no, I mean, production wise, I would re-record everything up to Lead Sales, if I'm being honest.
Really? You even don't like the way Death Grip sounds.
Death Grip sounds cool, but it almost sounds too raw. Like it sounds good. I think the guitar tones are better, the vocals are better, but like the drums are kind of too raw. Like it's a little bit just like too rough and gruff. You know what I mean?
Really?
Like Lead Sales is the first record we ever did where I was like, damn, this sounds fucking great.
Right.
And like it was the first record we've ever done where like we'd be on, amphitheater tours and like main stage dudes would be like tuning the PA to Doomsday.
Sure.
And you're like, I know this record sounds good because they're fucking, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so it's like that's the first record we ever had where I was like, this shit sounds good.
Crazy. Yeah.
Like actual good.
Okay, well on that note, go ahead and redo those records because I would love to own those.
I was about to say, so are they in, how do we get that into motion is the question.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how we do.
Okay. All right. Interesting. All right. Fair enough.
Fair enough.
I'll leave it at that.
Noted. Okay.
Yeah.
I could live with that. So what did everybody do in that time during the hiatus? Because you had your project, but like what the hell was like? Did everybody go back to like quote unquote normal lives? Like what did everybody do? Porter is, like you said, a graphic designer and all that, so he probably did all that stuff. But like, what was everybody doing to fill the space?
Everyone just kind of did their own thing. I mean, Porter went on to work for he worked for Firebrand, the merch company, for a while.
Yeah,
he was doing band merch. He has a friend that they have a company that does all kinds of graphic and like web stuff for like huge companies, like vitamin companies and like NutriBullet and all kinds of shit. So he was doing work with him. Dan started his the merch company, which he still has, Rock Roll Merch. So he was kind of doing that. He was in a band for a little while. He played guitar in this like kind of active rock band called Angels Fall for like 6 months, just because he kind of had the itch to play. I don't know. I think Travis might have done some kind of like scoring shit or something. He kind of had another band as well, but we don't know. He's a mysterious dude. We don't even really know what he does anyway.
Am I crazy? Did Travis fill in for Trapped for a minute?
He was in Trapped for a while, yeah. I don't like to mention it because he doesn't like to mention it.
Okay, I'll cut that out.
No, you don't have to cut it. He was in Trapped for. I played guitar in Trapped for like I think 2 years, year and a half maybe. And then
Interesting.
I had my other project. I don't know what Alex. I think Alex started a gym. Maybe he opened a gym.
Okay.
Or something. Everyone just kind of went back to just doing whatever, you know.
Yeah, fair.
But yeah, it was a strange thing. It's
it's
strange
just
thing
like
starting over.
Yeah, well, I've brought up a few times on the show, but like I feel like anybody who's made a career in this, right? You're like, you know that there's an end in sight. It can't go on forever. It never does for anybody, and so. You start to worry about like, whoa, especially when you start to get further into it, right? You start to go, oh fuck, I should probably have some sort of backup plan because you start to wonder like, when is this going to start winding down? And I always wonder to myself what the hell I'm going to do after it's done, right? And I've had a couple of soft launches into that because of our accident, and then COVID kind of put all of us in the music industry into a soft launch of having to figure out how to keep ourselves sane for 18 months.
100%.
Yeah, I'm always curious what guys end up doing when a band that they've worked on for so fucking long, they've poured so much time and effort into, goes away. Like that idea of like losing that piece of your identity and then having to completely start over, scary.
The only thing I knew to do was keep playing music, and it worked out. I mean, wasn't easy at all.
Sure.
But I mean, it's funny. I'm a firm believer in the kind of just shit happens for a reason. The world takes you on different paths because it's supposed to, in one way or the other, for better or worse. And it's like about maybe 9 months ago, we started managing ourselves, and it was like, oh, okay, if the band's not a thing anymore, I can manage bands. I could do this. All right. That's a new road I could dip down if I needed to, but it's it's weird. It's weird to be I'm 41 to be like even the idea of starting something new is fucking crazy.
Would you want to manage bands? Is that something you would like to do in the future, or you're like I can handle this?
I think so. I think I would just need to make sure I had the appropriate bandwidth for it.
Sure.
Like my kid, I have a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old and a wife, and I'm a songwriter and I'm in a band. So it's like, I think
now is not the time.
Now is probably not the time, but I mean, maybe once the kids were a little older and sort of self-sufficient and on the road and doing things, I could do that. But it's something that I love to chase. Like I love fucking details, and I love chasing things, and I love fucking little wins.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what a good manager should love.
Yeah.
Right.
I did the Joel Madden's podcast a few months back, and we were talking about this.
I listened to that episode. That was a good episode.
But he's like, no, you're a manager. He's like, no, you should just do this. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. He's like, no, you're a manager. I was like,
yeah.
All right, well then why don't you let me work for your company?
Right. You about to put me on the payroll?
I'll take on a couple bands.
Yeah.
Give me architects.
Yeah. There's a dude that I've been talking to he's in a band also, and he's trying to figure out, I don't want to out him. I'll tell y'all after this is over who it is if you want to know, but I don't want to out him publicly. But he's trying to figure out now if he wants to get into management. And we had a similar conversation today about the little wins and how, as a manager, while you're not in the band's accomplishments become yours because you're a part of that climb.
Yep.
And it's just, it is super, super gratifying,
And you have to care. I think a good manager cares more than the band cares.
Yeah.
They should.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, because it's like you said, someone let you into something that is not yours. Right. And now you get to live a piece of it. Like, you should care more than they do.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's tough to find.
You mentioned lineup changes. At what point did you guys kind of decide that it was time for Alex to go a separate direction from the band?
I think towards the end of it was really like the end of In Our Wake cycle. Things were just kind of waning, and interests were just kind of fading, and there was just a lot of question marks, I think, potentially even in his head.
Sure.
And strangely enough, I mean, it was before COVID happened, but it was like we kind of had all started talking and making decisions like, 3 days before the pandemic.
Right.
And I remember our manager at the time being like, "You sure you want to do this right now?"
Right.
He was like, "Well, we don't have to do anything for a while, so we still have some time to figure it out." But yeah, I mean, we've sort of publicly not delved too deep into like details about that stuff, just because, I mean, it's not. There's a lot of things I'd love to say because I got blamed for a lot of things, and I think a lot of fans just kind of put blame on the other dude that's now singing.
Right.
But it's not, none of it's worth, like, I'm not trying to kill dude's legacy. I'm not trying to kill anyone's livelihood. The time that he put in to this band, for the most part, was a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of the work he did was fucking phenomenal. There's times going and doing these Curse shows where it's like me having to do a bunch of the screaming and Porter having to do a bunch of the screaming and going through these lyrics and all these things. There's a lot of moments where you're like, you know, motherfucker was on top of his game. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of beauty in that. But the reality is we're happier than we've ever been. And honestly, so is he. I think he's great at home with his family and doing whatever he's doing. And we're the same doing what we're doing.
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's ultimately what you like. You wish for everybody in this scenario, right? You know. Yeah. So, I
just thought of that one SNL sketch where they're like, "No, he's our greater friend, but I will say sometimes." What if I did that instead? I'm not going to say anything, but I will say though, just one thing.
Right. No, that's fair. Yeah, it's also like it's not productive to like air that stuff out in public anyway. You know what I mean?
Some of our fans were like, "We deserve to know what happened." It was like, how about go fuck yourself?
I've got a controversial take. Right. You don't deserve anything more than we're willing to give you.
That's like someone being like, "Hey, I've met you and your wife before. Tell me about your sex life."
Right.
It's like, go fuck yourself. It's nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? But I know you.
Right. You're not entitled to any more than what we're willing to give. And I'm sorry if you feel differently, but that's just how it is. So
yeah. No.
Fair.
No.
Do you ever miss being behind the drums?
Dude, I hate playing drums.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't hate playing drums. No, because I mean, there's still some studio shit that I still will do, and like here and there, I'll play a song or two live. We'll kind of do like a switch up where our drummer Kyle will play bass, and then like I'll go drums and Porter will front, and so like I still get to do it here and there.
Yeah, cool.
Dude, my hands are so soft now, and I just want to keep it that way.
Yeah, totally.
That's fair.
My wife doesn't go when I touch her or anything.
Yeah.
Sandpaper hands.
What was that? You talked about Jacoby giving you like pep talks when you're like making this move to being like the front man of the band. What was that adjustment period like for you? Like how awkward? I mean, I guess it probably wasn't so bad because you did Hell or High Water, right? And you were used to being out front, but was there any sort of adjustment period to like you're losing your safety blanket of your drum set? You know, like did it feel weird being up at the front for a while?
It was one of those things. I think I put so much pressure on myself at the very beginning to be like, because it wasn't my decision. It was
interesting.
It made the most sense because me singing in the band wasn't a new thing being introduced to the band.
Right.
It was just the same thing. It was losing something, but not also adding something new. You know what I mean? It was like, so, and I mean, people are already used to Porter screaming too, because he's been screaming on our record since Death Grip.
Right.
So it's like, it was the most, whatever, but it was like, I'm not going to make that decision. Like, you guys have to tell me what you want me to do. And they made that decision. But it was one of those things where at first I think I put a lot of pressure on myself with the idea of just like, well, who am I going to be? You know, like who am I as a front man? And it was like, yeah, shut the fuck up. Like, do what you've always done and just be you and go out and be on stage. Even like, I was psycho when we first did this about like getting in crazy shape and like, I was like, oh, I need to be like skinny and ripped and like take whatever. And it's like, I like myself better when I'm in a healthier state, but it's like, it was like, that's all that matters. And I have to look this and I have to be this. And it was like, nah, man, just go out and fucking be you.
Right.
And if that's good enough, it's good enough. Like if you're singing as well as good as you can and you're engaging the crowd as much as you can, you're showing that you're having a great fucking time. forget everything else. And I kind of just, it took a second to get there, but once I got there, I feel like I really came into my own, and I feel like we all sort of sunk into what Atreyu is now.
Right. There's a few reoccurring threads that have come up through all of these episodes we've recorded for this podcast so far, and one of them is the like, just be you, because being you is what fucking got you here in the first place.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
100%.
It's like there's no reason to be anything other than you.
No, and you can't. Like,
Right.
it shows. You can't. I'm not going to go out and like, you know, it's funny because like you think about that as a frontman, you're like, well, like what's going to be my character?
Sure.
You know?
Right.
And like, I couldn't go out. I'm not going to go out and do like my best Gerard Way.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
Right.
like, I'm not going to go out and do like my best fucking Jamie Josta. Like, I'm not
Right.
either of that thing. So it's like, I'll just do what you do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's worked. So
Yeah, fair.
at least I think it's working. Okay.
I think it's working.
Has there ever been a moment that you thought about, you know, walking away from music completely when through all this stuff?
No, it's been the most, other than my wife, music's never failed me, and I've never even imagined a world where it doesn't exist. Even when we were on hiatus, I mean, that's when I got into like writing for Sync and like writing in general. And it was like, I was busy. I was, you know, 3-4 days a week writing and doing really well at it. But it was like, oh, but like, it's not stage and it's not performing and it's not being that thing. Like my wife's always like, you could succeed as a songwriter. You could just be a writer and never leave, and we would be fine, and you'd be great. You'd probably do even better spending more time on writing. But she's like, but then you'd have this hole. You know what I mean? You'd have
You wouldn't
that
feel fulfilled.
And it sounds corny, but it's like it's the one thing that's never failed me. It's never let me down. So it's like, why would I turn my back on it? You know?
Sure.
And I think we all felt that during COVID. You know what I mean? It's like, when it gets taken away, you feel a big asshole.
Yeah.
That was big asshole is not what I meant. You feel a giant, feel a giant hole in your chest.
Yeah.
Don't edit that either.
No, I can't make any promises. I can't promise that won't end up as a short on our Instagram.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Big asshole.
So you and I kind of connected. Well, we definitely connected, but because of Twitch, because all of us band guys were rocking the Twitch game during the pandemic. No joke, dude. We need to get Matt. Like we made a list of people when we first started talking about doing the show, and you were on it. Matt's on it, you know. But Matt's a hard dude to nail down to get some time because he's so regimented in what he does every day.
Oh, it's crazy.
Did you love the Twitch game?
Dude, I really did. Once it was perfect when I didn't have, I talked about bandwidth earlier.
Yeah.
And it was perfect when I had the bandwidth. And then once things started happening again, it was like, oh, fuck. Like I kept forgetting about it. And I kept like, and it wasn't just, it wasn't the only thing I had to do.
Yep.
So it kind of fell off.
I've been battling with that too.
We met so many great people through Twitch and become friends with people through Twitch. And honestly, it was, so I have to give credit too. Do you guys know Biggie?
Yes, of course.
Biggie used to manage E-Tid and all the bands. Yeah.
Yep.
So Biggie was like, yo, because I remember I was on Instagram Live one day, like playing acoustic songs. And he was like, yo, get on Twitch. Like, you'll kill it and you can make money. And I'm like, oh, like, what is that about? He's like, just do it. I don't have the equipment. He's like, dude, Anthony from Circo, he's like, has started doing it. He's on his fucking phone, dude. Like, do it. You can make money. You can really turn it into something cool. So from there, I downloaded it, whatever, did like a test stream, and then was like, oh, Matt's on Twitch.
Yep.
Hit up Matt, and he was the kind of guru that like set me up with what I needed. But even, dude, I didn't have a legit setup for the first year. I was on like a fucking iPad playing acoustic guitar. And then like it wasn't until deep in where I had this dude like bought me a fucking PC and like lighting and like all this shit. And I had like a legit rig, and that's when I started like doing different kinds of streams, and I had a fucking layouts and all these fucking emotes and all this shit. But I didn't have any of that stuff for so long. But I loved it, and it really did a good job at sort of filling that bit of like
big asshole.
Yeah, the big asshole. Twitch filled my big asshole.
Yeah, that was my whole thing with doing it too, is like filling that big asshole that we were missing from live shows and like the community of being at a live show.
I gotta stop you for 1 second. Please look at Chris's shirt while
big
he's saying
Big asshole.
This is absolutely going to end up as a short, like a super cut of all the big assholes.
Fuck.
Super clip.
Yeah, no, but it totally like filled that void. Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Of what we were missing from like shows and stuff, and just that community aspect. It honestly financially was it helped a lot. It really did. But
Lifesaver, dude.
But mentally,
birthday streams, anniversary streams, get out of here.
You know,
we're eating steak and lobster tonight, guys.
Amen. But mentally, even like really pulled me out of I struggled bad during COVID. I mean, there were some other factors outside of just COVID itself that, you know, we were going through at the time as well. But it was a dark period, and Twitch like fully really pulled me out of that deep place. So I'm like really thankful that was an option for us, you know.
And I think it was what I didn't understand at first either is that it was that same thing for all the people watching.
Yeah.
All the viewers. It was like, we also have nothing to do.
Yep.
And I haven't seen my parents for months, or I haven't seen my friends. It's not, and they're working from home or doing whatever. But it was like, it was wild. It was definitely a really cool thing. And I mean, maybe someday I'll go back. I mean, I like to, when we go on tour every now and then, I like just like streaming the shows, like even from my phone and like a little plug-in mic, you know, just something so that people can kind of, you know, engage in what's going on. But it was awesome. I owe a lot to the whole community on Twitch.
Yeah.
You said you had 2 kids.
Yeah.
Do you bring them to shows yet? Have they got to that point?
Yeah, they're 6 and 8. They've been, both of my kids started touring when they were like 3-4 months old.
Oh, you bring them on tour?
Mm-hmm. For a while,
amazing.
For a while when they were like really young, I just wanted the control. So I would rent I would pick like a week, usually in like the Northeast. That was like the drives were really short, like maybe 3 hours max. Mm-hmm. And we would rent just like an SUV, and then we would just follow the bus. We'd get a hotel wherever the show was, and then the next morning just drive and just get hotels every night. So we had like, I knew we had like an isolated, like controlled environment for them.
Yeah, sure.
And then there was a couple times where like we'd either bring like my mom or my wife's mom with us, and like it was cool because she would like go back to the hotel with the kids, and me and my wife could hang out at night and go to the show. And then once they got old enough, they just hop on the bus and they hop in a bunk and do the damn thing.
Fucking rules.
It's fucking awesome, man. Like they're just ride or die kids. Like we got real fucking lucky. But they're super cool. We're going the cruise tour in the UK, Europe. It's gonna be the first time they go to Europe at the end of the year.
Oh, amazing.
But they fucking love it, man. They love hanging with their uncles and showing people their laminate, and just like they're all about all the little details. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
I was gonna ask, do they think you're cool?
At times, yeah, they still do.
Yeah.
They still do.
Yeah.
I'm holding
That's
on
cool.
to that one for as long as it lasts.
Yeah.
They still think I'm cool.
For
Like
sure.
I've been doing like a bunch of emo nights like the last year.
Yeah.
And they were going to come to. We did one the other day in Florida, and we went down and we went to Universal Studios the next day, and they were going to come to the emo night because it's the one thing, like they know what it means when Dad goes to work. But they're like, oh, I'm like, I have an emo night. They're like, but Dad, what's emo night? Like, what is it? And I'm like, I'm like DJ and I play like songs. And they're like, so you play a show? I'm like, not really. So I want them to see that so they know what that is.
Yeah.
Until they know what it is, they don't really accept the fact that I'm leaving. They're like, fuck you. I wish you wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But they definitely think it's cool. They think our shows are cool, and like they like party on side stage. It's pretty good.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
I love when my kids
really
come
cool.
for the same thing, and I look over and see my daughter like doing like ballerina spins in the middle of the song and something my son has, and I don't love this, but my son, and I think it's because of one of his friends at school, his buddy's favorite band is Imagine Dragons, and so therefore he always says that his favorite band is Imagine Dragons. So Imagine Dragons came on, we're the whole family driving in the car the other day, and I go, is Imagine Dragons your favorite band? And he goes, one of them. And I go, one of them? Who's the other one? He goes, The Ghost Inside. And I was like, that's like, dude, I don't need any more validation. You know, like that's good enough for me, man. Like that's the ultimate win.
Oh yeah, that's absolute cool points right there.
Yeah.
You're stoked. Dude, the best was like last year was, I think it was last year, we did a handful of shows with Iron Maiden, and our drummer's wife and daughter came out at the time, and she's like laying down behind our kind of like lights things, watching her dad play whatever, and then there's just a video of her, literally we're playing fucking arenas with Iron Maiden, and it's like a video of him playing drums, and then just scans down, she's just sleeping on the floor.
Yep. Yep.
Like 5 feet from the drums.
Yep.
Yeah.
We played our first show back outside the shrine, sold out, 8,000 people. My son was a year and a half maybe at that point.
Yeah.
He didn't make it to the first note of our set. He slept through the whole fucking thing.
Yep.
The whole fucking thing. Like, damn it, man. He wouldn't remember it at 18 months old anyway, but like, come on, dude, you know?
Yeah,
Whatever.
that's what we were talking. It was funny, like we're good friends with the Avenged dudes, and like they were, you know, their break was pretty big. They break for a while because of Matt's voice, and then took a while to put out a record. So there was like, they were gone for like 5 years, I think. And it was funny because they like had kids that like wouldn't remember the shows because they were so young.
Right.
And then when they went back to work, I was like, dude, some of your guys' kids, when you go back to work, are going to be like, what the fuck is this?
Right,
like,
right.
Like, since when do you do this?
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Like, it's got to be crazy for kids to just fathom what is going on.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. It's crazy. Well,
so fun.
Someone else in my family, we did a run of shows with the Day to Remember that Josh tour managed us on, and my family came to see us in Reading, Pennsylvania. We played Santander Arena there, and so my wife brought the kids up. My parents and grandmother and stuff came, and we were hanging out in the bus after the show, and my grandmother goes, you know, your kids are gonna go to a concert at some point in their lives that like you're not playing and be like, what do you mean I can't go backstage in this arena?
Mine are spoiled to that.
Straight up.
Yeah.
My kids are like, why don't I have a chair on side stage?
Right.
But even to the extent, like, this is like, my wife took the girls to go to Louder, I think last year, because Avenged was playing, and we moved, so we hadn't seen them in like 8 months.
Right.
She goes, and they were watching, my wife was watching, like Deftones or someone play or whatever. And, our friend Val's, she's like, oh, I'm going to go watch Pantera. And my youngest Ruby's like, oh, where are you going? She's like, I'm going to go watch Pantera. She's like, can I come? And she's like, are you okay if I take her to Pantera? She's like, cool. So she goes, she comes back with a Pantera stage laminate and a separate sticky. And we're like, oh, where'd you go? She's like, I went and saw Pantera. They're pretty good. Like, that's cool. But it's like, that's what you're used to. Like, you're
Right.
getting this.
Yeah.
Dad's not even playing this show.
Right.
Dad's not even here.
Right.
Yeah,
And you're still
yeah.
like, oh, where's the dressing room? Like,
Right.
where's my chair on side stage? and
Right.
my
Can I
snacks?
get some of that rider?
Yeah, where's my
Yeah.
goldfish?
You're right.
Yeah. It's not the type
Insane.
of water I like.
So how do you go about balancing like work-life balance with, you know, a wife and kids, and also like, you know, traveling to fucking Japan to go write? Like how do you balance all of that?
I mean, it's just trying to be as present as I can when I am home.
Yeah.
We've been really lucky. I mean, we've had these good chunks. Like last year, we were pretty inactive. We wrote a good bit, but we didn't tour tons last year. You know, even this year, like we're doing the whole world, but it's kind of spread out. More recently, just managing ourselves too, we've kind of been able to sort of structure things and plan things far enough ahead where we can go, okay, we're going to go to South America, but then we're going to be home for a month, and then we'll go to the studio for a month, and then we'll come home for another month, and we have one show. But you know, it's like it's chunked out, you know.
Right.
But really, it's just trying to be present when I am home, you know, and just involving them as much as possible. And even with my wife, like she came with us to Japan because it was like, well, yeah, I'm going to work during the day, but this is like a vacation. So let's just go to Japan for a week, you know? So just, well, I've found that what's worked best for me is just try to integrate my family as much as possible into what I do.
Smart.
And then that way there's not walls telling me that I can't see them or I can't be with them. You know what I mean? It's like, and I'm very, very fortunate where the band is just on board, and we all kind of have the same idea with family and wives, and none of us want to be away from people. So it's just like, everyone do what you want to do, you know? And so it's very much family vibe on the road too. So that's how it's been able to work out.
Nice.
It's hard, man. That's something that I've always struggled with, the family work balance, because it's, you know, it's tough. We've
Well, I'm a
spent so many.
workaholic too. Like
Me too.
if I was in the studio every day, I'd be stoked.
Same.
Like I
Yeah.
love playing shows. I want to do it, but it's just like it's definitely hard for me too, to really come down and like be present and put my fucking phone away and just be
Yeah, it's
in one
hard.
place, you know. And so, but you know, I think the fact that we do involve them in a lot has really been super, super good.
Yeah.
It's helped fill that big asshole.
It's really hard to fill a big asshole too, you know?
Yeah.
What do you do for fun outside, like music removes? Like what is it that you do for fun? I'm curious.
My wife talks shit on me because I don't have any hobbies. She's like, you have
None.
zero hobbies. You don't play golf.
Your hobby became your career.
My hobby is like, oh, cool, we're gonna go to a homie's house and write a song today.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
or like, oh, like, you know, I love to cook. That's pretty much as far as it goes.
Cool.
Other than that, it's just like hanging. Like, I just like hanging with friends and you know, regular shit. But I don't like skate. I don't play golf. I don't play video games. I'm not into magic. I'm like not into, I don't have anything. I just cook, or maybe that's also why my work-life balance is good. Because if I'm not working, there's nothing else I like to do.
Right.
So I just
Yeah,
like
so
to hang
you're
out with my
chilling.
family.
Right.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's a good recipe, actually.
I
enough.
think I probably should start golfing. That might be something I could get into.
It gets you hooked quick.
I don't have the
I
patience. I've wanted to get into magic with Porter, but I just don't think I have the patience.
I don't have the patience for that either. For some reason, I've never had an interest in any of the card stuff, Pokemon,
I
Magic,
never
none of that.
got it. I didn't, honestly, you can't like. I feel like you got to let like, and I'm not saying this in a derogatory way. Like you got to let the nerd of the band be the nerd of the band.
Yeah, that's our singer.
Sure.
You can't interfere with that.
You
like,
know, the problem
Sure.
is we have a lot of
Sure.
nerds in my band though. But like in different ways. Like visuals, like fucking video games and Magic the Gathering. Like he's like, I think him and Porter played on the boat. I'm pretty sure.
they're all in the metalcore Magic text.
Oh, of course they are.
Yes.
Is that a thing?
Oh yeah, it's a group chat with
wow.
with a bunch of metalcore dudes who are
We
big into
joked
That's
Magic.
crazy.
But if the metalcore Magic text was a tour, it would be the biggest
huge.
tour on planet Earth.
Yeah, it's like Vigil, it's Porter, it's Eric from I Prevail, Tuck and Ryan from Fit for a King. I forget who else.
From the Voids on there.
Yep, it would be a massive tour.
It would be madness.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Someday.
Yeah, we'll make it happen. We'll put it. We'll start fucking sprinkling the idea out there and see how we make the big boy tour
Metalcore
happen.
Magic
Yeah.
Tour.
It's
So
awesome.
if say music hadn't worked out, do you have any idea what you might be doing right now?
I think younger me, if it didn't work out, I think I probably would have tried to be a chef.
Okay.
I just love to cook, and I know that like the like pressure and chaos of being a chef would probably subtly match the way that I live anyways, as like being an artist. Older me would probably try to get into like management or booking or something like that.
Yeah.
Something involved in the back end. Fuck, I wish I would have been a booking agent from day one. That's where all the fucking money's at. But,
True.
yeah, I mean,
Maybe
it
Nick
would've
Storch
been
can cut us a piece of what he's getting.
I tell you, if the band ever shits the bed, Nick Storch is who I'm calling first. Hey, I work
Does
for
Nick
you now.
Storch
Guess what?
Nick Storch book you guys too?
Yeah, he's been our only booking agent since we started.
Really?
I'll tell you what.
I fucking love that
I
guy.
love Nick so much.
He's
Me
the
too.
best fucking dude. We had a conversation yesterday about tour and talking about some venues and this and that, blah blah blah. And then he just stops in the middle and he's like, "Hey, you guys heard the new Turnstile song?" We're like, yeah. It's like, what do you guys think? And we had a 15-minute discussion on what we thought of the new Turnstile song. And it was like, you're so not a suit, and I love that. Like, you're just a dope fucking dude.
We've been texting back and forth this week just randomly because we were having for a while like bi-weekly or at least monthly like Zoom meetings with him, and it's been a while since we've done one. So I just texted him and I was like, hey man, hope you've been well, been a minute. And we just been missing each other because we've both been busy this past week. And he just this morning goes, he's like, I'm so sorry, had a rough few days of travel. Did you see The Monkey or Hard Eyes yet? I'm super behind on movies this year. Like just randomly, it's like, hey, what movies have you been watching? He's the fucking coolest.
And for a dude that's as busy as him and has as many gigantic bands as him,
Yep.
No one in this industry texts me back or emails you back as fast as Nick Storch.
He's the best.
He is instant.
Crazy.
He's the
But
best.
you gotta
instant.
talk to him though, because you guys are probably chatting about the Ghost Inside Atreyu tour that we're gonna do next year.
Dude, I
That'd be
shit
a
you
good
not.
one.
I told Porter on the boat that we've got to fucking make that happen.
I have a couple bands that I would like to put forward to open that tour too. Just so
Let's
you guys
go.
know.
We can talk.
I don't know. Yeah, let's figure.
Dude,
we'll have to
you
figure
don't
that out.
understand, Brandon, how much everyone in my band would love to make that happen. So
And
Say
I
less.
had not seen you guys in a long, long time until the boat, and literally, I was standing with Porter, and I went, "This works. This would work.
Yeah, it would.
What are we doing? This fucking works.
It does.
And he was like, "Yeah, it does. It very much works."
We'll make some phone calls.
Storage.
Yeah, we'll make some phone calls.
What
Assemble!
What do you think that young Brandon would say if he saw you now?
I think you'd be wildly stoked and confused. When I was young, I had no vision of what I wanted to be or where I thought this would go. I don't think it was till years into touring where it was like, oh, fuck, there's a future here. And like, we're actually doing something that some people think is important. So I think that just young me was just sort of, aloof and just like, yay, I get to fucking go on tour. Like, but I think that young me would be pretty stoked at the things that I've accomplished. I still kind of like pinch myself sometimes with just like little things, like I said, little wins earlier, where you're like, man, like I do this for a fucking living. Like I don't have a job. I don't have a fucking job. I just do this thing
Right.
that I love. And that's wild to me. To think that when I was 17, I started a fucking weird metal hardcore band. And 25 years later, it still not only exists, but like successfully exists.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
couldn't have called that one.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
Wouldn't have
right.
thought that.
Right.
Didn't think it was going to be this band.
Right. So with everything that you guys have accomplished and like, you guys have accomplished a lot at this point, like what's the next thing you guys are trying to check off on the list of things coming up here in the future?
Just fucking bigger, better, stronger.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? There's countries we still haven't been to. There's territories we want to grow in. There are things that we want to get back to that we've been to before and surpass. You know what I mean?
Right.
I saw some interview with what was it, with Sam from Architects recently, and it was like, what is it, album 7 or 8 for their whatever album it is. He was like deep.
Yep.
He was like, the fact that like this is album whatever, and like this is probably going to be our biggest release yet. Like this is the biggest record we've had so far off the rip, and it's like, fuck yeah, it is. Like that's what we're chasing now. I think we're done. We've passed the mark of like reproving ourselves. I think we've done it for the last couple of years, and it's like people know what we are now, and people understand what Atreyu is today.
Right.
And now it's just kind of, like I said, it's bigger, better, stronger. Like just be the best band we fucking can and conquer everything we can,
And you guys, what stuff is announced at the moment tour wise?
We're doing Australia. It's a Curse tour, but we're with Memphis Mayfire in July, which is going to be sick.
Yep.
Then we're doing the UK Euro Curse tour in September, October, and I'll say that there will be one more.
Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Easy. Cool.
So now we do this thing for our $1 a month Patreon where they can submit questions
okay,
that they want to ask. And we got a couple from them. From Mike Hope. Why did you stop doing hot tub streams?
First of all, why are you so horny?
I don't even know I don't know what hot tub streams are. So I just
during COVID, I would straight up like maybe every week or 2 or 3, I would straight up just take my phone out to the hot tub and do a hot tub stream.
Well, it also became a meta on Twitch where like hot chicks would get like scantily clad in their hot tub so that horny dudes would come on and just fucking donate tons of money.
That's why I started it, because I'm the antithesis of that. But then also there was like a little like tip cup thing when you're on Twitch on mobile. There's like a little tip jar thing, and I would do.
if they did tip jars, I would put it in a place where I knew if I cannonballed into the pool, that I would cannonball into the tip jar.
That's so sick.
Oh, nice.
It was
So
sick.
sick.
But all I need is give me a hot tub and some spare time, and I'll bring him back.
Fair enough.
Okay, easy enough.
Until
he
then,
also
tuck that boner.
you freak. He also wants to know what artists outside of your genre would you like to hear cover your music?
Damn, that's great. I'd love to hear like Gaga do a song. I'd love to hear someone random, like a random kind of pop singer do some stripped down version. Like, be sick to get like fucking get Teddy Swims to do like a fucking
Teddy
Tender
Swims would be a good
acoustic. Yeah, someone just his voice is insane. Yeah, that's kind of that's two good ones, I think.
Sick.
Yeah.
And then from Mara, when the touring slowed, did you have a hard time transitioning?
Yeah, I think at first it was just like, what do I do? But then once I got a grip on the fact that I was sort of blessed with an opportunity that I'll never probably have again in my life, where it was like, you don't have to do shit. All you have to do is hang out with your kids and your family. And it's weird and it's scary and it's kind of up and down, but you take advantage of this. So like, I think me and my wife both sort of transitioned into like the joy of getting the opportunity to live a life that we've never gotten to do because of what I do.
Right.
You know, and that sort of overtook the tough part.
It was similar for me. I know that a lot of marriages kind of got messed up during COVID because, you know, people were forced. I actually think me and my wife got closer, and it was for me because I toured full time for a really long time also. And, you know, we had never spent that kind of time together, and we were forced to be together pretty much completely. Well, I live in Florida, so we were only shut down for 6 weeks, but regardless, like we were, you know, we were forced, like her business was closed. We weren't doing shit hardly, but I think that our marriage got stronger through it, which is awesome.
I think it was definitely a make or break for a lot of people. It was like, you know what I mean? It brought people closer or it spread people apart.
Yeah.
You know,
because you realize, I really like this person, or actually, you know what? I don't fucking like you at all.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Yeah. You actually suck. Yeah. Please go live it.
And I can't even leave you and go date because no one's
right. Yeah.
Unless you're in Florida, then you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, COVID didn't exist.
In Florida, they just called it the panned. They didn't even have the image.
Yes, exactly.
It was wild. It was wild.
COVID. Crazy.
It was wild, I'll tell you that.
All right, so now we're going to go to our last segment of the show, which is our day sheet round, which is the lightning round. So I'm going to throw some rapid fire questions at you. Just hit me with the first thing that comes to mind. Weirdest fan gift you ever received?
Bedpan.
That is weird. Is there context behind that? Or did
just like, hey, this is my bedpan, sign it. And then we signed it, and then they're like, actually, you guys can keep it.
So they want you to sign it, but also gave it to. You know what? I'm not going to ask any more questions.
So you got a signed bedpan.
But I tell you, when you need the bedpan, great use.
As a guy who spent some time in a hospital bed, they come in clutch sometimes. They really do.
I'm trying to figure out how you shit laying down.
So it's called talent.
Not comfortably. Not comfortably. I'll tell you that much.
Can I tell y'all what my son did today?
Oh boy, sure.
We were driving.
Something to do with shit and laying down.
It doesn't have anything to do with shit and laying down. But we were driving today, and I was on a call, and he had soccer, and he got in the car, and he's like, I gotta pee. I was like, all right, whatever, we'll pee when we get home. You know what I mean? So he proceeded. I started hearing this sound, and I turn around, and he's sitting in his car seat, his booster seat, pissing in a bottle as we're driving down the interstate.
Respect.
He's meant to be in a band.
Yeah.
But also,
you like, fucking dude. He is a dude.
Yep.
I'm like, bro, if you piss on my seat right now, we got real problems.
Right, I'm going to stop you right there.
That's where we differ in our parenting. I would have seen it, and I would have given a little hip just to like
to make him piss all over himself.
Here's the thing, though. You just admitted on the podcast we recorded earlier with Ollie that you sometimes at soccer games, when you don't want to use a porta potty, will go into your wife's back seat and piss into a bottle. So you can't say
and
shit. He learned it from you.
Bro, I don't do it while we're driving down the street, sitting in a chair. That's like some bus driver shit.
Yeah, that's high tech talent.
I had a bus driver one time. One of my dear friends, he would bring a box of Ziplocs, and he would piss in Ziplocs while driving, so he didn't have to pull over.
That's fucking weird.
That's tough.
That's
tough.
weird. I don't like that.
Anyways, sorry. The bedpan derailed us.
Fair.
Go ahead.
Who has the worst tour habits in the band?
Probably me.
Really?
They're not horrible, but like I'm not crazy messy, but I'm the messiest. I snore the loudest. Everyone in the band is pretty fucking put together.
Sure.
Like everyone's pretty like Dan's pretty fucking, OCD. Porter's pretty fucking put together. No one has crazy bad habits, but if there were, and mine aren't horrible, but I'll admit that it's probably me.
Fair enough. Craziest show of your career?
Bren Center, Irvine, the World Championship Tour, headlining tour, just because it's the biggest to date, the biggest headline show we've ever played.
Sick.
I went to that tour in Philly.
Okay.
Chris, did you go to Did you go to that Atreyu show? I think it was Chiodos. On that, right? And
I went to that.
Was Every Time I Die on that?
From First to Last was on it.
I went to that show in Baltimore.
I
went to that show in Baltimore.
Oh, okay. I didn't think it played Baltimore.
That tour went to Sonar in Baltimore.
Yeah, great venue.
Whoa, but it went to Electric Factory and
probably.
Yeah, we did Electric Factory in Philly.
Yeah, that was the only
time
I ever went to.
There was a couple on that venue on that tour where it was like really random, like where there'd be like Sonar would be kind of on the small side.
Yep.
We do Electric Factory, Philly, which is super close, but then like same thing, like the Orange County show was like a 5,000 cap, like little mini arena.
I'm trying to figure out why the fuck I went to Philly when I lived in Baltimore.
Couldn't tell you, but I definitely saw that tour in Baltimore.
Okay, good. Well,
what's your go-to gas station snack when you're on the road?
I do sugar-free when I'm driving anywhere. A lot of time when I'm on the road too, sugar-free Red Bull, beef jerky, and smoked almonds.
Respect.
Is like for some reason just always fucking hits a spot.
Respect.
Interesting.
Sugar-free Red Bull is a mainstay on the Ghost Inside rider. If you could freeze one moment in your career and relive it forever, what would it be?
There's just so fucking many cool things.
Yeah. You guys have done a lot of cool shit.
Damn, that's so fucking hard. That's a really tough question to rapid fire. There was a really cool like 3 months of our life, if I'll go that one, where we got out of our previous record deal and there was a settlement involved, signed to a major label and signed to a publishing company in like a 3 month period. And that was cool.
Yeah. Sounds like you were probably feeling pretty all right at that point.
I was feeling okay, yeah. So if I could feel like I did in that period of time forever.
Fair.
You'd be living life.
That sounds like that's a good one. I would probably pick that too. What's the grossest thing you found in a green room?
Literally like a few weeks ago in the green room in Buenos Aires, there was...
Oh, boy.
First of all, the venue was shot. Terrible. Green room was shot. Everything was so hot. And in some of those cultures, it's not customary to flush toilet paper. So there was just because of plumbing issues. Mm-hmm. There was just a straight up fucking dookie covered toilet paper ball on the floor in the bathroom.
Nope. Hate that.
Yeah.
So HRT kindly said, "Hey guys, do you think you can clean that up?" They're like, "Oh yeah, sure." Like it was
completely
so matter of
unfazed.
Fact. Like, yeah, I guess, yeah, no problem.
Somebody once told me that a dookie was a turd without skin.
I like to believe that.
Jesus Christ. We're moving on now. Jesus Christ, Josh. What's your go-to karaoke song?
Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody.
What a fucking heater.
Or more recently, I started ripping Carrie Underwood with If He Cheats.
Yeah, If He Cheats,
shit goes
also a heater.
Off.
Yes, it does.
Can we get video of that, possibly? Maybe that's a cover song.
Someone's got video. There's video of me doing Whitney Houston on Shiprocked.
No, I'm going to hunt that down for sure.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that we're going to get redemption here from...
Yeah, we got redemption on this one
from
for sure.
the being told that she's never bought a CD in your life. What's the first CD you bought with your own money?
I'm gonna do the anti of what she did. I'm gonna take
he bought a fucking
tape.
Let's go.
He bought a tape.
All right.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yep.
Me and my brother. I mean, granted, we were like 5 or 6. We went in together and bought Beastie Boys' License to Ill, and then we also bought the Radiohead Creep cassette single.
Wow.
Sick. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Yep. That's the correct answer. That's the correct one.
We've had 2 tiers so far.
And it's weird.
And those episodes didn't air, strangely. That's so weird.
And they probably shouldn't.
And they'll never see the light of day.
Man, we deleted those.
We've spent 2 hours and got all the way through this, and now it's trash.
We need to start asking that question at the top to see if we even go any further.
Yeah, right.
If Atreyu had to cover a pop song, what's it going to be?
Live on our last European tour, we did Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody.
Make a fucking recorded version of that.
Yeah, Dan plays saxophone on it too. He doesn't even play guitar.
What?
But that was pretty good. I don't know that. I mean, I'll just stick with that one. It's only since we've kind of done it. But yeah, that's a good one.
Speaking of covers, can we just talk about? I should have done this earlier, and this is derailing this rapid fire round. But how fucking awesome of a cover was "You Give Love a Bad Name," dude? That's like
once again one of those moments where I didn't know until everyone told me.
How did we forget that?
Dude, I also forgot to mention that I never had my parents and my family never like gave me shit about being into this kind of music. They gave me the classic. The music's cool, but the vocals, blah 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 blah. Right, that's a classic. But the first record that my mom was like, "Oh, I get this," was The Curse, and you know what did it for her? Was the fucking "You Give Love a Bad Name" cover. And then after that, she loved the whole record, but it was that cover that got her into it.
I completely forgot about that cover.
It's so good. It still rips.
Completely forgot about it.
It's still, we couldn't, I mean, we still play it every now and then, but there was like a good solid 10, 15 years where it was like every fucking show.
Yeah.
Couldn't escape it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It rips though.
It was solid.
Rips.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
We got 3 more here for you, and then Josh has an exit question for you. But zombie apocalypse weapon of choice, what would it be?
The gun that holds the most ammunition.
Sure. That's fair. That's fair. Okay. Stranded on a desert island, you get 1 album, 1 movie, and 1 snack. What are you going with?
The Traveling Wilburys is the album. The movie is the first Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay.
And the snack is Ruby, what's my favorite snack?
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
Nice.
Which is not going to fare well on a desert island, but
no, but you know what? With the assist, I love it.
I'm on my podcast. You want to say hi? This is
She
Ruby.
has to say hi.
Oh.
Hey.
Hi.
This is Ruby. You got some ice cream there?
Yeah.
Nice.
Sick. You want to stay? You can sit right there. All right, let's go.
Best tour of your career?
Project Revolution. Excuse me. Project Revolution with Linkin Park.
Wow.
Tied with Family Values. It was Korn, Evanescence, Us, Flyleaf, Hell Yeah, and Trivium on May 6th.
Wow.
Strawberry and chocolate ice cream.
She got strawberry and chocolate ice cream? Sick.
Got the good stuff
He's
over
got to
there.
go quick. All right. If right now you were given a 5-minute phone call with Brandon right before Suicide Notes was released, what's the message?
Hey, before it was released?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like just that time period.
Hey, shit's about to change. Your life's about to get real freaking cool. And also, when you get those first week numbers, just know that happens every week. Because when we got our first week, I was like, damn, we sold 1,400 records. That's crazy. And then I realized that it was it. But I think the main consensus would be, yo, hey, shit's about to get real fucking cool. Yeah.
Sick. Brandon.
Before we go, hold on.
Ahead.
Before we go, I got a confession to make.
Yeah.
I had a Live, Love, Burn, Die tattoo before I covered my torso.
Hey, say most of you had a Live, Love, Burn, Die tattoo.
It's true.
Okay. Is there a cooler tattoo over it now?
Yeah, I'll send you a picture later or something.
You know who else? You know who else used to have a Live, Love, Burn, Die chest ripper?
Yep.
Who?
Your very own Chris Motionless.
Oh, yeah.
Chris from Motionless.
Yep.
He had it right here.
Mm-hmm.
I tormented him for like 8 years.
Most people used to have a Live, Love, Burn, Die tattoo, which I'm okay with. If you were there once, you know.
Yep.
It's still
But
there.
I treat it like straight edge, dog. If you're not now, you never were.
That's fair.
I'm just kidding.
And before we let you go, I'm going to give you the same thing that I gave Porter on Shiprocked when he came and saw our second set at the theater.
Look at her peeking over
and
his
I
shoulder.
love it. And he hung out for a bit after the set when we were tearing down stuff. And I hit him. I'm going to fanboy for a second and just say that, like, straight up, Suicide Notes and The Curse, changed
and Death Grip
and Death Grip like fully changed the game for me and played a massive role in even being a reason of why I'm here chatting with you today and doing this. So thank you for those records and just being you and like, you know, being a positive influence on this you know, corner of the music world that we live in. So I appreciate you and your guys all being genuinely down to earth great dudes and putting out great music, and I look at you guys as a source of inspiration and hope that I get to do this for as long as you guys have been doing it, and also still feel as excited about it as you guys do. So
as you do, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that you guys paved the way for probably pretty much every band today.
Yes.
I have an Atreyu poster right over there.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
Not even gonna lie.
Yep. So
I appreciate that, guys. I mean, I feel fortunate to still be around and doing this, and it's cool as hell when you can inspire anyone, especially if you can have any hand in inspiring other bands that are fucking incredible as well. So
For sure.
I appreciate it beyond words. Thank you, man.
Of course.
And thanks for taking the time.
Thanks for taking the time, awesome. And I'm gonna call Nick right now about that Ghost Inside Atreyu tour.
Get him working on it.
Cool. Right on, man. Take care.
Appreciate it.
Hey everyone, Chris here, and I just wanted to take a second to say thanks for watching today's episode. You can check out more episodes of Late for Load-In on the right side of your screen and find any applicable links to this episode in the description down below. There you'll also find a link to our Patreon, which is the most direct way to support the show, and it's only $1 a month. Please consider giving this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and be sure to follow us on all social platforms, at Late for Load-In, at Chris_TGI, at Josh Carell. See you guys next week.